would be very, very impressive. Anytime someone does something for the very first time, it causes you like, damn.
Yeah, boys.
I didn't think it could be done. So it would be highly,
What is up?
1,500, 2,000. It's very, very impressive. But they weren't even supposed to be in this position. They were supposed to win. They were heavily favored. Even when they go down or they lost 0-1, they were favored the game.
What is up, motherfuckers and party people? How is everybody doing today? Hope y'all having a great fucking day. I am. I'm ready. I'm ready for some racing. I probably should have checked to see if we're actually going on time instead of just starting the stream, but whatever. Engines to be fired at 11:01. Should be good to start. All right.
And Jaylen Brown, not that they play the same positions, but he's way more valuable than Bam Adebayo.
Green flag scheduled for 11:12.
You're deeper, you're taller, you're longer.
So,
you got everything.
with that being said, let me order some pizza.
JB, you make a case, but especially during the regular season, Jimmy just sort of comes alive in the playoffs. But he came alive for 2 games, and then he came alive for 2 minutes of Game 6, and that's all we've seen of playoff Jimmy. This team goes as he goes, and it's been going south. Well, here's the difference. The other 3 teams that made it to a Game 7 at home, well, all 3 of those times, they won the first 3 games, and then they lost focus, they lost momentum, they lost maybe some confidence. And they
Hello, good morning, Samuel Wilson. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Hello, Noah. How y'all doing today? We got 900 miles of racing to go. 900 miles of racing. This race that we're about to see right here is only half of the race that we're going to see later today.
And then all of a sudden they said, what are we doing? And they snapped out of it.
You're goddamn right.
And then they won Game 5, and then they won Game 6. And now the whole world thinks it's a done deal. It's fate complete. It's over. You think
Noah?
You think it's way over.
Noah weirds me out. he'll type in my chat. He just typed in my chat, said, "Hey Sam." I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he texts me on Snapchat and says, "I'm good." Oh, I love it. But today is the Memorial Day. Today is the Memoriam. The day of memorial. The day of memory. Today is the day of memory. Yes.
You don't get Game 5. Celtics gonna get you a 7.
Well, it's over. It's done.
You finally came over to my side.
That is your side.
Edge of your seat action, guys. We gotta go. What is the exact score of tonight's game? Skip and Shannon predict. Up next here on FS1.
Listen up, you dogs with allergic itch. Today's talking lesson is just one word. Apoquel. Apoquel.
You can't teach your itchy dog to talk, so talk to your vet about Apoquel. Apoquel is for the control of allergic itch in dogs. Do not use Apoquel in dogs with serious infections. Apoquel may increase the chances of developing serious infections and may cause existing parasitic skin infections or pre-existing cancers to worsen. New neoplasias have been observed.
I'm glad we speak the same language.
Ask your vet for Apoquel.
The future is here. We've been creating it for more than 100 years. From the most advanced technology to the broadest, most reliable network of sales and service dealers. We lead, others follow.
Chevy Silverado factory-lifted trucks. Where will they take you? With the capability of a 2-inch lift, the versatility of the available multi-flex tailgate, and the connection of a 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Chevy Silverado, taking adventure to a whole new level.
Check it out. Imagine how much Mountain Dew is in there.
We should probably drink these fast. 2
Hope Kyle Busch wins today. Me too. So Kyle Busch was supposed to run the Xfinity race today, or he was supposed to run the Charlotte Xfinity race, which is the race today. But since they've postponed the Cup race, so he'd be running 900 miles in one day. He's just deciding. He's deciding just to sit out for the Xfinity race, so he can be fully prepared for the 600 miles he's got to run. Also, the drivers only broadcast, which is supposed to be today, that's not happening. I think they're just having the normal broadcasters.
Dexcom G7 lets you see your numbers on your watch and phone without paper sticks. And because you always know which way your glucose is headed, you can make better diabetes decisions. And all those little decisions can lead to big results, like more time in range and lower A1C. Manage your diabetes with confidence with Dexcom G7, the most accurate CGM. Request a free sample at dexcom.com/sample.
The head of the table, Roman Reigns, celebrates over 1,000 days as undisputed champion. An all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8/7 Central on Fox.
OTR Premium Cocktails. You're already making the tacos. Why make the margaritas too? That's cocktail on a whole OTR level.
I have moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Now there's Sky Rizzy.
All right. So,
Feel significant symptom relief with Sky Rizzy, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks.
there we go.
Sky Rizzy is the first and only IL-23 inhibitor.
I have ordered pizza, and it should be here in about half an hour.
The majority of people
Are there any competition cautions today? I'm sure there.
Serious allergic
I'm sure there are.
increased risk of infections, or a lower ability to fight.
Well, the Xfinity race is the one that's coming up, so that's all I'm really concerned for.
Symptoms had a vaccine or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
ask your gastroenterologist how you can take control of your Crohn's with Sky Rizzy.
The track is ready.
Learn how Abby can help you save.
Lori is ready to buy her first home. Come on. When you buy with Rocket Homes and finance with Rocket Mortgage, you get up to $10,000 cash for closing from Rocket Mortgage. Visit onlywithrocket.com to get started today.
Coming up right after us, the completion of the Nascar Xfinity Series in Charlotte on FS+. The Celtics 7.5-point home favorites tonight against the Heat in Game 7. That, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, what is your score prediction?
Well, I already gave Skip 7.5 points, so I'm taking they're going to cover.
Bob hasn't said anything about a competition caution, so.
I'll go 120. I'll go 120 to 108.
So by 12.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why this score keeps sticking in my mind. 105, 103. That's what I picked Game 6 to be, and it was 104, 103. Unfortunately, the wrong team. So I'm going to go Heat tonight, 105, 103, as Jimmy Butler and Bam actually show up and play a big game at a big.
You think the Celtics only going to score 103 points at home?
Yeah.
That what you thinking?
That's what I just picked it.
Okay. Well, you gonna pick up by the way on your way to work. Pick up my due tomorrow. Bring it, drop it off.
I got 7.5 points to start.
Yeah.
So right now it's 7.5 to nothing. Heat. Yeah, you know, Heat is just the last time you're going to leave.
Yeah. You got land lead. They land
Great
lead.
job, guys. We will discuss it all tomorrow. Once again, thank you to everyone who has served. We appreciate your sacrifice. NASCAR Xfinity Series next on FS1.
Good morning from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fox NASCAR ready to bring you a doubleheader. Later on today, it's going to be the Coke 600, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, live on Fox.
Yeah, not many fans in attendance for the Xfinity race, but I'm assuming a lot of them will come back for the Cup race.
Because Mother Nature has been the winner here at CMS so far this weekend. Rain washing out track activity both Saturday and Sunday. We just waited it out. We ate the snacks. We drank the coffee. But now the track is dry and we are ready to go racing. And all 38 Xfinity cars are gridded up. The drivers are behind the wheel. And finally, after waiting 48 hours, we can put the green flag in the air and continue the 2023 season. Today, is round number 12. Let's go trackside and get the command of fire engines here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome, representing Alsco Uniforms, Kirsten, Ella, Hudson, and Evelyn Fox.
On behalf of Alpha Uniform and military families everywhere, drivers, start your engine!
Nothing like a home game. We've got one for you in NASCAR, the Xfinity Series. Takes center stage for three returns on FS1.
Tourists that turn into scientists. Tourists photograph these thousands of miles of remote coral reefs that can be analyzed by AI in real time. So researchers can identify which areas are at risk and help life underwater flourish.
So yeah, no rain really expected today. There's a 15% chance all day. It goes up to like 24% chance around 6, but nothing higher than 24% at all today. So no rain. We're gonna be able to go have a good day. We're gonna be able to run 900 miles today. I'm excited.
Who wants to race? Be part of something greater.
I need to try it first.
The science of shine. Lightning fast with ultra-durable, super hydrophobic results. Mother's CMX line of car care products. The advanced science of shine. These bakers investigate a kitchen for clues and must recreate its mystery dessert.
This is my kind of cake.
So good.
Crime Scene Kitchen returns Monday, June 5th on Fox.
When you have Fios 1 gig internet, your day begins at full speed. There's video calling, temp controlling, uploading. Oh, look, someone's at the door. Powering your home and all your devices with a Fios 1 gig internet plan. And when it's time to stream your workouts or binge the latest, your internet keeps you going with fast and reliable coverage, all at the same time. Get Fios 1 gig on the 100% fiber optic network. Upgrade your home today.
There were two guys.
Okay, competition caution is on lap 20 for the Xfinity race. The stages are 45 laps. The second stage is also 45 laps, so that'll end at lap 90. And then the final 110 laps is the final stage. Competition caution at lap 20, so halfway through the first stage.
One guy didn't.
True legends don't just appear out of thin air. They're molded, shaped by years of trial and error.
This is the price that those who gain all the high speeds and lose.
Charlotte Speedway has been a proving ground for the world's elite drivers for over 60 years. And these fans know a future champion when they see one. Today, these young stars will walk the path of legends. Some of the sport's best, calling the action from the booth.
Wow, what a save! Yes!
It's NASCAR Xfinity Racing from Charlotte on FS1.
If this race had gone off like it was supposed to 48 hours ago, you would have had the best drivers calling the race. Unfortunately, because of the rain delay, you only get two of them because I'm up here.
Yeah, they still got Ryan Blaney. Oh, wait, no, they don't. I thought they did for a second. You got McMurray and Michael Waltrip in the booth.
I just think it's funny.
You can't back out of it now.
Okay, our drivers only went away because all those folks are preparing for the Coke 600 you'll see later today on Fox. You get the three of us So you have to wait 48 hours to go racing. What do we expect from the teams, the drivers, and maybe more importantly, this track, Michael?
The B team here, we think that it's really important to see how this track widens out. There's traction compound up high. You can run right out next to the fence. You can run as low as you want to. This track is so much fun as a driver because of those options. And Jamie, I think I love watching and running the top more than the bottom, but both of them are really fast.
Yeah, and we saw on Friday in practice, there were guys that could run either lane that they wanted. I think the big unknown today, at least, you know, down in the garage earlier with you, Adam, is just what's the track going to be like? We've had the Air Titans on it for 5 or 6 hours yesterday trying to get the track dry. A lot of unknowns heading in today, and I can't wait to find out what happens.
The one thing that really has surprised us so far this season is the fact that Junior Motorsports, who won here a year ago, has not won so far in 2023. Here's the comparison last year to this year through the first 11 races. They had won 4 times at this point a season ago. They won 15 races over the balance of the campaign, put 3 drivers in the championship 4. Maybe today is the day Justin Allgaier is starting on the pole for JRM. Let's hear from our pit reporters now. We start with Regan Smith.
Well, Adam, good morning. And you mentioned Justin Allgaier starting on the pole after a great qualifying session on Friday for him. And those wins that Junior Motorsports don't have yet, he is well aware of that. So close in this race 1 year ago. I spoke to him a little while ago. He said this one would mean the world to him today because it is the home track for all these teams. And more importantly, nobody has really stamped their name on the Xfinity Series this year as a championship favorite. The team told me they need to rattle a couple off right now and let everybody know that they are one of the favorites for this championship this season. Keep an eye on him today. Josh?
We've got a driver change in the 10-car. Kyle Busch is out, and Justin Haley, another Cup driver, will step into the 10-car colleague and do the double dip today. As you can imagine, Haley had to get here early to make sure he was fitted correctly for the seat. They had to make some changes because, of course, Haley's just a little bit smaller than Kyle Busch. Now, his biggest concern, though, he said he hasn't been on a mile and a half in an Xfinity car in over 2 years, so it's going to take him a while to get into the groove of things. He's going to start from the back, but he knows he has a fast car. Now, let's see what Justin can do with it.
I'm disappointed that we don't get Kyle Busch because he's been so successful over the years at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but anxious to watch Justin Haley, who has 2 starts this year in the 10-car, and numbers don't lie. He's finished 10th in both of those races. Let's dial up the man that won here a season
So, I mean,
ago.
Justin Haley's going to go 900 miles today.
Josh Berry, Michael Waltrip, and the Fox team. Do you copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you won here a year ago, and looks like you're getting passed right now, which is a bit of a concern. How do you feel about today's race, and what did Friday give you for information to go win this race again this year?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we didn't have a great Friday, I'll be honest, but these guys worked hard over the last couple of days to, get the car a little bit better for me, a little bit closer to what we had last year. We got a great pit crew sitting there ready to go that's going to help get us some spots, and we do some great work from the back normally, so today's going to be no different.
You going to the back because you worked on your car, you didn't like it Friday, is that the deal?
No, we had an issue with power steering. It could have been part of our problem Friday, but it's all fixed now, and we're going to go after them here.
All right, you're always fun to watch, bud. Have fun today.
Thank you.
I can't believe when you look at the history for Josh Berry in the Xfinity Series, how much success he has had at mile-and-a-half tracks. You and I were talking about this during practice the other day, Michael. His foundation is as a short-track racer, and since he's come over to the Xfinity Series running full-time, he's enjoyed great success at these intermediates. Here is the list of drivers going to the rear. It is long. Ryan Sieg did make a qualifying run, had an engine problem in practice. They go back there.
All right, we're about to go green.
Talked about Haley in for Kyle Busch. Stephen Parsons also going to the back today.
That's all fun for us, Adam. We're going to see some really good cars fighting from the back to get there.
Sammy Smith starts 18th in the 18. We got his heart rate monitor in. I can't wait to watch this when that green flag goes in the air, Jamie.
Yeah, we saw in practice his heart rate got pretty high.
Is that rain?
It's one of my favorite parts of the Xfinity Series, us being able to view the heart rate of these drivers, how different it is for each of them. Expect this not to be as high as normal, Michael, just because it's not quite.
You're serious.
These guys, and you know this, Jamie, are in incredible shape. They work hard to do their craft on the racetrack, and that means a lot of time in the gym.
Field is rolling, ready to take the green flag, and they're at pace speed behind our Toyota GR Super. The 2023 model is our pace vehicle today. Justin Allgaier won the pole. Second time he's done it at Charlotte. 8th time in his career. He takes
And the lights are
inside
back on.
lane. Is outside John Hunter Nemechek on the front row for the 5th time this season.
Lights are back on the pace car, Adam.
I was all amped up and ready to go, and then they flipped the lights back on. Got word they're checking the windshields on these cars because, you know, there has been a mist, and the track is dry. It looks like it's in really good condition, but these lingering showers and mist have not been able to dry up, and so we'll continue to watch things. And now I guess we got a chance to dial up Cole Custer, who's good in practice here on Friday.
Hey, Cole, it's Jamie Mack up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, it's been a couple of days of rain, but on Friday it looked like you had one of the cars to beat. What are you looking for in this first stage that you can apply towards the end of the race?
Man, I mean, this first stage is going to be a little bit different just because the track's going to be green here. The resin's still going to be working in. So it's going to be a little bit hairy here to start, especially in the lane that we're in, I think, on the top. But I think it'll be all right. We have a good 3D system in Ford Mustang. Hopefully keep it up here. Just be there at the end. But this is a cool racetrack. We're excited to get going. You can really run around the whole track here.
All right, we got a little report of some drops on the windshield. What do you see out there?
Got a little bit of mist. I mean, it's kind of at that stage where you don't really know if you're good to go, if you're not good to go. It's definitely, you can see it on the windshield, but it's not raining hard. I bet we'll get going here soon.
All right, man. Well, good luck. We'll enjoy watching.
Thank you, guys.
Let's listen into 7-team radio, Justin Allgaier.
Waved it off, waved it off, waved it off. Mist isn't bad enough for them to wave it off right here.
That's the commentary right from the driver's seat, seeing what's on the windshield. Spotter Eddie DeHaan telling him they got some moisture in the air. See if we can get one to go here.
Yeah, and I'm good with NASCAR being a little cautious. We waited 2 days. It's fine to wait a couple more laps here and see what we're going to have. And Michael, you and I talked about it. You can kind of see in the horizon a little bit of fog rolling in here. But if Justin feels like it's good, then we got to assume that's going to be okay.
Man, I love the driver's eye view, don't you, Adam? Just being able to sit there on his helmet, see what he's feeling, know what he's saying.
All right, now we're getting one to go.
All those things.
So one or the other, for sure.
Lights are out. We have been given the one to go.
And Jamie, you and I have both been in this situation. A little mist in the air. The track's green. There's a lot of energy in those cars right now, isn't it? Wondering what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I honestly was always just wanting to go racing, unless it just seemed, you know, too much. I mean, a little bit of mist. I was always like, let's just get it started. The track's dry right now. We know once they get going, it seems like it works out for them as long as it doesn't get any heavier. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to go green right here.
Inch in the front row. Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek. Riley Herbst coming from 13 today. You talked to his teammate Cole Custer. Here's a guy that needs something good to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love being able, those in-cars, to see in their eyes and wondering what are they thinking. Like, we're coming to this green flag. Cole Custer mentioned that outside lane's probably not the preferred lane. They talked about having the traction compound on the high side of the track. When it's cold, especially after it's rained like it has, that's going to be a little bit slick to start with. So all these guys having a little bit of a different agenda, wanting to just get this single filed out, get this race started, and kind of get in the flow.
We saw it a lot, too, during the truck race on Friday night. So much on these restarts is who's behind you and how much help can they give, the big shove as you come across the start-finish line and take it down into turn one.
Yeah, you want the guy behind you to be right on your rear bumper, giving you that shove.
All right.
All right.
After 2 days, we're going Xfinity Racing. This race is supposed to happen 2 days ago. And now we're going. Green flag is in the air.
Off we go from Charlotte.
Hardy 3 wide, there's no big surprise. You know that this is the time you really need to get some positions when they're all stacked up, and that's exactly what's going on.
Teammates for second, Nemechek in the 20, the 19, Ty Gibbs, the reigning champ, making his second start of the year.
How about 4 wide, Jamie? I said 3. 4 won't work, will it? They singled it out. Wow, what action we had.
Yeah, Brett Moffitt not reserved at all. Went to the very top of 1 and 2. Felt good to him. He thought, I'll try to get in 3 and 4. You're just trying to get some clean air on the nose. He was able to capitalize on it.
Forward performance onboard camera with Riley Hurts. Looking back at Carson Hocevar. Getting racy into 77. We're 3 wide again.
Wow, what a run on the outside by Anthony Alfredo in that Andy's Custard car.
Yeah, and Sam Mayer's not liking the balance of his car. You've seen him stuck in the middle of 3 wide the last 2 corners. He's just trying to get to the bottom, get calmed down. Most likely that car being really loose right now at the start of the run.
What about Hocevar? He was 6th at Darlington. Talked to him this morning. Loves his car. Said he just got tight off turn 4. He thinks he could have had a shot at the pole. He was in the green as
someone's smoking.
So watch that 77 car you see right there getting up in line on the outside.
Part-time effort. As you said, he was so good at Darlington a couple of weeks ago in his 2nd career start. I'd say there's plenty of confidence there because when you look at what he's doing in the full-time ride in the Craftsmanship Series, he's been impressive.
Whoa, tight racing off turn 4.
Toyota on board. This is the rookie Sammy Smith, won earlier this season at Phoenix.
That was amazing, by the way. He just executed late restarts. He did everything perfectly to get the win.
Teammates at college. Daniel Hemrick, 2021 champ, drives to the inside of the 16 Chandler Smith, the other rookie who's won this season.
This gets tied off turn 4.
Well, and you can see there's some mist on the windshield right there, so the drivers know that's in there. You see Sammy Smith just gets into the left rear of the 78 car right there. No harm, no foul.
You say no harm, no foul. Sammy says no harm, no foul. Maybe we should get some 70-18 radio. See what Anthony Alfredo thinks. He's not going to give him an ice cream, I'll tell you that.
Oh, Don Hunter, really loose. Is that a result of the mist, or do you think he just had a little bit of a moment there?
Well, I would say you see him getting his left sides on the paint. The paint has a lot of grip. But when it gets wet, if there is any moisture on that, that could get slick for those guys. So you want to be conscious of that.
How cool is that car? Just a really beautiful Mobil 1 paint scheme. Red, white, and blue.
This is the best weekend of the year for paint schemes. All red, white, blue cars are beautiful, and everyone brings those out for here. I love seeing what the sponsors come up with for all these guys.
Racing for Ford, Brandon Jones in the 9. Came over from Joe Gibbs Racing, driving out for Junior Motorsports. And inside him, Cole Custer making his return to the Xfinity Series, where he was so good in 2019, hasn't won this year, and nice little save there.
Well, you see Cole Custer had Brandon Jones right on his outside, and he also had the 2 cars, Sheldon Creed, right up behind him. It's really the worst case scenario for Cole in that situation, but is able to clear Jones, and looks like he has a great car. We know on Friday we thought he had one of those cars. He's making his way to the front right now.
And I think my sleeper could be Sheldon Creed. Down on the bottom. Really good at practice. Loves this racetrack. Looks like he's moving forward.
He's a Truck Series champion. 2nd year full-time in the Xfinity Series, and boy, has he made some gains. When you look at his performance last year, his rookie season over what he's done so far this year, it's been impressive, the improvements they've made.
One thing about Brett Moffitt, Michael, he's committed. He's committed to run the top, but I feel like he likes running the top at most tracks that we go to. We see him capitalize on that a lot, and he's committed to that basically this whole race so far, all 9 laps.
And you know what I said at the beginning of the show, I love that line, and he's taking advantage of it. It's up there, and he's trying to make it work.
We're going to get a competition caution right around lap 20. Just about halfway there. Justin Allgaier started on the pole, and he's led them all so far from Charlotte.
For every purpose. Rarely we see a Monday Xfinity race. Like, I wonder when the last one was. The last one I can remember was 2018 Indy.
For every season, there's a Ram.
Now during the Ram Memorial Day sales event, get 10% below MSRP on the 2023 Ram 1500.
Stay 2 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Your house is lovely. Thank you. I need to introduce you to someone. He was telling me how Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance, so I was thinking...
Well, hello, old friend.
So you have met.
Years ago, we both had big dreams about saving people money on their homeowners insurance.
Yeah, just look at us now.
Your house is lovely.
Yeah, just sit down.
Okay, nobody heard you.
Okay.
I did hear you.
Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance.
It's time to hit refresh, to be buttoned up, to feel your best and look it by using Just for Men shampoo and hair color to eliminate gray in 5 easy minutes. It's time to look forward. Just for Men shampoo in color.
Oh, that's the new DQ Backyard Bacon Ranch Signature Stack Burger with house-made Hidden Valley Ranch. You're taking this backyard thing really seriously. Oh, I get it. It's a tasty-looking burger. DQ, happy tastes good.
Remember how lucky we are to get to do this every week?
We remember the racing, the action,
I'm speechless. This was the greatest day of my life.
the calls, the community. But when we look back, we also need to remember the men and women who serve this country and all they do to keep us safe and free. The future is here. We've been creating it for more than 100 years. From the most advanced technology to the broadest, most reliable network of sales and service dealers. We lead, others follow.
Ray Magliotti here. If you need parts, eBay Motors ensures a guaranteed fit. Hey, Dave.
Yep. Wait,
Oh, those new wipers.
they're small.
Just go to eBay Motors where the check needs a guaranteed fit. Let's ride.
Sunday, week 8 of the 2023 USFL season is on Fox with back-to-back games. As Memphis takes on New Jersey at 1 Eastern, then Michigan battles New Orleans at 4. It all kicks off next Sunday on Fox and the Fox Sports app. 15 laps in, NASCAR Xfinity Series racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. On board with Riley Herbst. He had a moment.
This gets really tight off turn 4. Carson Hocevar up really high. Squeezes between the 90 and the wall. Great move there.
It's really impressive, Michael, the speed that Carson Hocevar has, whether it's in the trucks or the Xfinity car. I mean, the one thing for him is
Bring a little bit too much.
managing all the competitors, because he has a knack for making other drivers mad.
That's because of his, he runs at about 10.
I guess I'm just going to keep
every
going
lap.
now.
You love that as a fan.
I am shocked that the drivers are not complaining about the moisture. When you look at this in-car from
I think they just wanted to race.
they're having to clean that off constantly because of the buildup that is on this. But we haven't heard any complaints from any of the drivers right now about the track being wet. Even though you see Riley has his hands full right now in turns 3 and 4.
Look at this battle for the lead. It's been heating up recently. Up high goes Gibbs.
Well, and he's going to have to get to the outside of the 7 car. He tried to work the bottom. Justin moved up, got in that traction compound, and found a little bit of speed. And I thought that was interesting because I talked to Justin earlier today, and he thought his strong suit, based on what he saw on Friday, was that he could run the bottom longer than others. But as Ty Gibbs tracked him down, he saw where he was running, and he moved up just 1 lane. But Ty's going to have to try to get to the outside of him in order to pass him. I don't think he'll be able to complete that on the bottom.
And look what's ahead. Lap traffic. How will this play out? Right to the bottom goes Garrett Smithley. And out of the way.
Well, those guys will be screaming for all that lap traffic to go to the bottom, knowing that they want to be a little bit higher on the track.
And we've got a competition caution that's just over a lap away, a couple of laps before we'll see it. And so that could change the way things play out here as well, because Gibbs is right there. He's bulldogging him and not going away. And what's amazing is you look at the delta, John Hunter Nemechek's 4 seconds behind him, right? I mean, these two have absolutely checked out.
Well, you had to figure John Hunter Nemechek was one of our favorites as well, along with these two, Allgaier and Gibbs. So that competition caution might be just what John Hunter's looking for. Make an adjustment, get this car handling a little bit better.
Well, and the fact that they've given them an extra set of tires because of that competition caution, that's a game changer for this series, because they're normally so limited on tires that they don't get to make all those adjustments. So when you do get to make
competition caution is about to come out.
Carson Hocevar right
There
on
it
your screen
is.
in the 77. Man, has he been impressive early. Gets by Brandon Jones for 9th, and there is the competition caution.
Brandon Jones is thinking, let's just have a normal day. Run inside the top 10. Make something good happen today. They've had a tough start to this season.
Likely pit stops when we come back. Justin Allgaier is leading this thing.
Get it with gurus. Car gurus.
Ace is the place for paint because only Ace offers the extra mile promise. We'll help you get everything you need to paint in one trip, or we'll deliver it free. Ace is the only national hardware retailer that carries Benjamin Moore paint at over 4,000 stores. Our best premium paint with a huge selection of colors, premium paint, award-winning service, and the extra mile promise. Ace is the place for paint. Right now, get 20% off gallons of Ben Interior paint.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Are you a new AT&T customer looking to upgrade your phone? You're trapped, locked into your contract for 3 years. Introducing the Easy Unlock. Bring your AT&T locked phone and T-Mobile will pay it off and give you one of the latest 5G smartphones free.
Free your phone now at T-Mobile.
If you choose curbside when you order ahead in the McDonald's app, you won't have to wait in line when you get here. Genius.
Here you go. Thank you.
Order ahead in the app to save time.
Back in Charlotte, pit road is open. Everybody coming down to get that first set of tires, Regan.
Out of the 00, Cole Custer's running right now in fourth where he started. That car is tight, landing front, just a little bit too free on exit. Wants an adjustment for the exit. And the leader of the number 7 car, Justin Allgaier.
It does seem like a little bit of a fuck you though, because wasn't it just like, wasn't it just the mist last night that kept us from ever going green? So now if we're racing in mist anyway, it's like, could have done that last night.
Look at it, back row mid-pack, 3 wide, pushing and shoving. Allgaier was a part of that.
I see someone spun around in their pit box.
Could have seen a little fender damage there.
Ryan Sieg did stay on the racetrack. Free pass goes to Blaine Perkins. Here's what we're talking about. Allgaier, Cole Custer, Shelby, Freed.
My active psoriatic arthritis can make me feel like I'm losing my rhythm. With Sky Rizzy to treat my skin and joints, I'm getting into my groove.
It is misty at the track, yeah.
Skin, Sky Rizzy helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And it's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Sky Rizzy attaches to and reduces a source of excess inflammation that can lead to skin and joint symptoms. With Sky Rizzy, 90% clearer skin and less joint pain are possible.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Thanks to Sky Rizzy, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Now's the time to ask your doctor about Sky Rizzy. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
When I started as a stunt driver, I had to create my own path. So I got in my Ford and I got to work. Literally every moment of the day, I just trained. And now I can confidently say that I'm one of the top drivers in this industry.
From big cities to small towns and on main streets across the U.S., you'll find PNC Bank, helping businesses both large and small, communities, and the people who live and work there grow and thrive. We're proud to call these places home too. They're where we put down roots, and where together we work to help move everyone's financial goals forward. PNC Bank.
Rated T for teen.
Nothing feels better than having support, and the same goes for your footwear. So you've got to try Skechers Arch Fit. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists and designed footwear with podiatrist-certified arch support. Plus, they're machine washable. Get the arch support you're looking for with Skechers Arch Fit.
The Barn Bar. The county's best hangout. Just got better. Here's to living smooth with the always smooth, easy drinking Keystone Light.
Ever wonder, why was I born with two hands? Because you were born to try Arby's Bourbon Barbecue Sliders. 2 at a time for just $4. The body just loves barbecue sandwiches. Arby's, we have the meat.
I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to landscaping. I've studied soil down to the microbes. It's that level of detail I bring to my work and to my business. Straight lines and a healthy ecosystem is what I'm all about.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway with Mike Walter, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. Pit road today, Regan Smith, Josh Sims. We're under caution, and this was a scheduled competition caution by NASCAR because of all the rain we've had here the last couple of days.
And to bring
the
pit road.
Green, and everything was going to plan, and then we got that mist, and it picked up. We actually delayed the start of the race even today by a couple of laps because of that mist, and now you can see NASCAR said, let's pull them down pit road and work on the racetrack. The mist just got a little too heavy, and you could really see that precipitation building up on the windshield of these cars, and the track feeling the impact as well.
It was shocking to me that the drivers weren't complaining about that, but I think, like everyone watching at home, anyone that's been at the racetrack the last 2 days, we're all trying to get it in. Everyone's like, nope, it's fine, it's not going to be a problem, but once they slow down, it just, you can see the track change colors, and as you look at that in-car camera, I mean, it's not necessarily raining, it's just still that kind of heavy mist right now.
Yep.
It was the heaviest mist I ever felt yesterday. It just felt thick in the air, and today that's returned for a bit. You know, you mentioned it, Adam. Ryan Sieg stayed out under that
This
competition
sucks.
caution. He had driven from last to 20th, so that's a fast number 39. So take a break here. Enjoy leading this race while the showers persist.
Well, you go back to, there's a baseline there because you can compare him to the other drivers that dropped to the rear, among them Josh Berry, who won this race last year, and he was in front of Josh of those drivers coming from the back. So not only did he make up a bunch of positions in that first run of the race, but he was better than some of those other cars that started back there.
I don't quite understand the strategy there. If you've got a car that's that good, don't get off sequence with the leaders right now. It's early in the race. Stay on there. Try to build up just being on that same sequence. If we get a longer run here, it's just going to get you behind.
The racing here at Charlotte is always good, and then maybe you had a little mist and slickens things up, and it really gets entertaining. But what we saw early on, there were some moments, huh?
Yeah, you see, we talked about Carson Hocevar run the top, John Henry Nemechek. He had a couple of big moments right there.
There was a quip from Charlotte straight to the back of Moffitt, and Moffitt went for a slide. Moffitt's been the guy that's really kept that high line swept off.
And what, you know, Michael, what you don't know is that the track is green. We haven't run on it. It's kind of misty, and from inside the car, you're like, is my balance just this far off, or is it because the track's wet right now? A lot of unknowns for all those guys out there.
Yeah, a couple guys said their cars were feeling sketchy, and they're wondering, like Jamie said, is it the weather? Or is it my car?
Is it us, or is it the weather?
And then you go on board here with Sammy Smith, and you think about it from his perspective. He's never been here. In fact, he's got limited experience at mile and a half in general in the extended
Yeah, my boy
season.
Joseph
This is
Newgarden won the Indy
totally
500 yesterday. I was
new
so
for him.
fucking pumped, man. That was amazing.
Sammy's there beating at 106. What are you, Jamie, you know right now?
I have no idea. I want to play along, but I don't know. You know, Adam, we were down in the garage earlier talking, and everyone just has so many positive things to say about Sammy Smith and his learning curve and how he's just like a sponge right now.
Let's ask him about that.
You better hurry up.
Hey, Sammy, before you take your radio off, can you hear me? It's Walter with the Fox guys.
Yeah, it's before I got you.
That was
He's
a
like,
close
damn, I almost got away.
Heart rate at 108. I would assumed it would have been more when you're out there running, but how did the rain feel and how much anxiety did that cause you as you're racing out there?
Yeah, the last couple laps started to get pretty slick. I thought we were making pretty good progress, and then the picker had a really good stop there to get some track position. So disappointed we can't get going here, but hopefully it clears up.
We're hoping the same. Up to 116 now. Talk to me. I guess that's pretty anxiety felt also, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous talking to you, Mikey.
Oh, man, I appreciate your time. We'll have a bit of a break here and go back to racing. Thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys.
I get nervous every time I talk to you on TV too, but it's totally different than what he's talking about. Talking about drivers that have delivered early. Brett Moffitt's been solid in that 25, drove it up inside the top 10. Josh, what's happening on pit road?
Well, down here with John Hunter Nemechek just got out of the car. So what were you feeling out there with the conditions and how's the car? Can you get a read on it when it's like this?
I knew kind of what our car had to fire off there before it started missing too bad. And then those last few laps, I felt like it kept getting slicker and slicker and kept coming down a little bit harder. But overall, I feel like we have a fast Mobil 1 Toyota GR Supra. We got to make a few adjustments to get it as fast as Xfinity 10G, but looking forward to the rest of the race. Hopefully this clears up and we can get going. But until then, you have Jamie Mack in the booth with his perfect hair. I still don't know how he does it, so enjoy him.
How does this affect your approach the rest of the way, having this delay here, however long it takes?
I'm going to go look at some data from the two guys that were in front of us on that run and kind of see where...
Looks like the mist has kind of slowed down a bit.
Who knows what's going to happen if we go racing again, if the race gets shortened, or I feel like there's so many wild cards and unknowns out there with this, for dealing with this for the past 3 days. But overall, it's a great day, Memorial Day. I want to remember those who have sacrificed their lives and for our freedom and for this country. So thank you to all the men and women who have served and given their lives and who continue to serve.
Thanks, John Hunter. I'm sure Jamie Mack appreciated what you said about his hair. Regan?
Justin Allgaier out of his race car already as well. Justin, smooth sailing on the racetrack at the start of that race. Where you leading every lap under green so far. Coming down pit road, though, a little bit of a hiccup there. We saw the contact on pit road. Is it anything to worry about?
I don't know if it's anything to worry about, but just frustrated. Made a little bit of a mistake there. I had it in my head to go through the OA box instead of the OA being in front of me. Just mistimed getting into the box, which obviously put our pit crew behind, right? You jam them in, and they don't allow them to do their job. And, the Sheldon's crew chief came over and apologized, said he cleared him out all the way to the grass when we were obviously out there. And, it's disappointing to obviously be out front like that and then to have something like that happen on pit road. But I got the best team on pit road, and I know that no matter what we need to do, we'll get it fixed up. And obviously, the name of the game now is to try to go back forward. And we got a really fast race car. Our Camaro is super fast. To have defense commissary agency on the car and to have our own Kennedy parachute team on the car. They can't be back here today. They're actually flying to Normandy to do some stuff next week to jump during D-Day. So I was disappointed not having them here, but we want to get them to victory lane, and we're going to keep trying.
You talk about that fast race car out front. It appeared everything was going your way. Is there anything that you need to do to it right now to make it even faster yet?
Well, I mean, obviously the track conditions are what they are. The mist was actually really coming down pretty hard at the end there, so you're kind of sliding around and you don't really know how far to adjust on the car. That's the hardest part. If it dries up completely, you don't want to obviously go too far on the adjustment. So, Jim Coleman and I did a lot of conversation there under caution. I think we can have some more conversation here, under this red flag and make good adjustments. But I think it's going to change a lot. I think the top's going to come in a little bit, but I think it's still cool enough the bottom still prevails. So, we'll see what happens. But like I said, we got a really fast race car. We're not gonna hang our heads right now. We got the longest race of the year, and we can go forward.
Good luck the rest of the day. Thanks, Justin. Josh?
Here with Cole Custer, from that early run, what feel did you get from the car out there?
I thought we were solid. Probably need an adjustment or two to get up there with the 19 and the 7, but I thought we were solid. So I think we have a solid 3D Systems Ford Mustang. It's just a matter of getting that a little bit more. But looked like a 7 and a 2 hit us on pit road there, so we might have to fix the crush panel and come back in. We might cut the tires, so that sucks. I don't want to come from the back. but it looks we don't want to cut a tire and ruin our whole day. So we'll be coming from the back and hopefully make it a show.
How does this impact the rest of your day? You talked about the damage, but just the weight and whatever, how long this takes.
Yeah, I mean, it was sketchy that first run. I mean, you couldn't really see much, and you're going to be a little bit conservative just because you don't want to wreck in the first 20 laps. But it was a little sketchy, but hopefully get this moves out of here. I mean, it doesn't show like it should rain the rest of the day, so hopefully it moves out of here quick.
That's cool. Regan?
Sheldon Creed out of his race car as well as everybody is at this point, and you just walked up to me. I said, how was the race car? Said a little bit slippery. How hairy was that for you guys?
Yeah, I thought it started okay, and then yeah, just a small drizzle. I thought it got slicker and slicker as we went through that run. I was hesitant to move around. Usually I try to move around right away, and yeah, once I moved up, I thought we had really good speed. I was starting to get a little tight on the bottom there. I think the 11 caught me and got around me, but I feel pretty confident about a race car from practice. Really good changes by the guys. Good pit stop there. I apologize to the 7 team. Jeff called me clear to the grass, and I got into him. So never like to run into people on pit roads. So yeah, hopefully we can go and have a strong rest of our day when this clears up a little bit, and hopefully get this wheeling car out front.
You mentioned the contact on pit road and that you had gotten cleared all the way out to the grass. How surprised were you when you guys had that contact, and anything on your car to worry about now?
I don't think so. We just barely bumped. Our spotter pretty much calls us into the box, and our crew chief calls you out of the box. So Jeff, I think, just thought that I was going to get out, and maybe pit road just being a little wet. I just wasn't able to get going as fast as normal. So I mean, it happens. Hate to do that to Justin. They have a really fast car today, but I think they'll be all right, and they'll be fast the rest of the day.
All right, good luck the rest of the day. Thanks. Josh?
Brett Moffitt running just outside the top 10 before that comp caution. How do you feel about what you got from that early run?
I feel really good. We ended up starting, I believe, in 10th just due to a couple guys dropping in the back. And when the caution came out, we were up to 8th, I believe. So we got a really fast airbox, AM Technical Solutions Ford Mustang, and just need to get it back going here. Hopefully we can get the long runs in. I like the way the track's already widening out. I felt like we were one of the first ones to really get up by the fence, and that's where we made a lot of ground. So I'm sure everyone will adapt and move up as well, but for the time being, it's a really great start for us.
When you look at the season as a whole, obviously you guys are building something there, but how do you feel about where you guys are?
Yeah, it's a first year team. Essentially, it's a brand new race team. I know they've been around in the trucks before, which gave us a good starting point. But it's a lot of new guys, all new cars, a whole new series for AM Racing, and week in and week out we see improvement. It doesn't always show up in results, unfortunately, so that's frustrating. But we inside the race team internally, we see the progress we're making, we see the changes we're making, and how they're positively affecting the whole program. And we're just going to keep plugging away. Preseason I had the mindset of first third of the season is getting to know each other. Try not to make big mistakes. Second part of the season's get our race cars faster and more competitive week in, week out. And the last third of the season's all about execution. So we're right on pace for that in my mind.
Thanks, Brett. Regan?
Riley Herbst up 3 positions from where he started the race in 13th, up to 10th place right now in the top 10. You said, though, it's been an eventful start to this race for you.
Yeah, it's wild with the 20 laps and the competition caution. And I don't know if the weather knows what it's doing, if it's misting, if it's raining, but hopefully we can get that going here. I feel like we'll have a pretty strong Monster Energy number 98 car. And honestly, it's going to be kind of wild because I don't know if you're going to want to run the bottom, top, middle, what this resin's going to do with all these jet dryers on it and the jet fuel. So I'm excited. Hopefully we can get that going in the right direction this year and score some good stage points today.
You mentioned going back in the right direction. You guys were so strong early on this year, rolling off great runs every week, it seemed like. Now all of a sudden we've gotten into this little lull as the season goes on. How important is it to get that turned around right now?
It's vital important, not only for myself, my confidence, but the team's confidence. We know we have really fast race cars. We know everybody at Stillhouse Racing is doing a really good job. And, we're doing the same things we did the first 6 weeks. It's just kind of how the dice is rolling right now with some racing luck and some mistakes on my end the last couple of weeks. So we'll clean all that up. Hopefully have a pretty flawless day on pit road and execute well on the racetrack on my end and score good points and get away with the top 10 and head to Portland.
I like the dice is rolling comment from a Vegas guy. That was nice. Josh?
Over here, Parker Kligerman demanded an interview because you're really happy with what you got in the car right now.
Yeah, we worked on this thing as much as you possibly could after practice and the qualifying.
you know, this Spike Core Chevy was not there in practice qualifying, but once we went to the top up there, we were turning top 3 lap times, flying through the field there, and then the competition caution came out. I thought, all right, let's just keep going. Like, I don't want to stop this. I think if we would have kept going, we would have driven easily in the top 10, top 5. So, really proud of Patrick Donahue, Cody McKenzie, everyone on this number 48 Big Machine Racing car. You know, we've been that little bit off. We need to see the light a little bit with those changes, but we did, and I just want to get racing again. Like, this thing was awesome to drive up next to the wall. It had a ton of speed. It was, even with the rain where you couldn't really see at all, you know, we were still flying and going really fast. So I just want to say hi to our owner, Scott Borchetta. I know he's watching back there. We're good. We had a little slow stop, but we'll come back to the field. We got the speed to do it.
When you look at the season as a whole and where you guys are now, I know you've had some ups and some downs, but how are you feeling about what you got the rest of the way?
You know, I said before the race, and I told the team, we went to lunch this week, and just my message was, look, this month is a huge opportunity for us. I think this place is a big one for us, and I've always enjoyed going to. They've had, you know, the cars have been faster in the past, so I feel like this was a good start. But then you look at Portland, you look at Sonoma, road courses. I'm like, all right, these are big opportunities. And I think our whole race team has been putting the effort knowing that, right? And you just want to sort of get a little positive momentum here, go to some places we really think we can go out there and be dominant, and I really think we can. So I'm looking forward to getting to the West Coast. You know, we've had some ups and downs, but we had a lot of positives, and I think we're very close to breaking through.
Thanks, Parker. Regan?
Josh Berry, one of the biggest movers of the race so far, up 13 spots. That's a big part because you had to go to the back to start this race. I know you mentioned on the pace laps you had a problem with the power steering in practice. What was that, and how much of a problem was it with what was going on handling in practice?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, we had an issue. We found Saturday morning all the fluid had leaked out of the power steering. So, I mean, obviously you could say that it was on the tires or something like that. But I don't know. Overall, we just ran it out of the system out of oil, so we were concerned about the pump and all, and just changed it all to just try to be safe and make sure we didn't have any issues. So everything feels fine now. Our car is still loose, so I guess it wasn't the oil. So we're going to just keep working on it here. Made some decent progress and see what we can do the rest of this race.
Good news is your car's been consistent. Loose. Bad news is it is loose. As we talk about the rest of this race, obviously we're going to go through some significant track changes right now. You won this race a year ago, much different conditions. How much of a challenge is that from the seat to adjust to what you think the track's going to go to later?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot different than what we had last year. Obviously much cooler and overcast. It was raining pretty good at the end of that run, so we've had to dial her back a little bit there just to keep the entire Pro Chevy in one piece, but yeah, no, it's just gonna be a challenge. Obviously, I think we would all love.
Yeah, it's red flagged for mist.
Radius would love for the sun to come out right about now. So all us drivers and teams feel the same way. We want to get this race going. Thanks to all these fans that stuck it out here to watch this racing today, and you know, we'll just see what happens. Hopefully, the sun can come out. We can make some adjustments and get this 8 car as fast as Xfinity 10G.
Good luck the rest of the day. I'm still trying to figure out what the sun is. We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it's a lost cause for sure at this point, but. I was optimistic about today, that it was going to clear out, but it will. It'll just take a little more time.
Thanks, Josh. Josh?
Over here with Justin Haley, originally not supposed to do the double. Now you're doing 900 miles today.
Yeah, I saw that the tire at Indy hit a car.
Like
and then they let the woman whose car it was, they let her come on the track and kiss the bricks after the race. That was pretty cool.
To be driving this number 10 LA Golf Chevrolet Camaro. Felt pretty good there. I mean, it was obviously raining a good bit, but man, it's tough to hop back in an Xfinity car at a mile and a half. I haven't done this over a year and a half at a mile and a half, so it's been tough, but I feel like we're decent, and yeah, I don't know, it's really hard. I mean, I'm not in my own seat. I'm in Kyle's seat, obviously, and me and Kyle aren't really the same size. So, I'm sliding around a little bit out there, but having a lot of fun. I mean, these Xfinity cars are a blast to drive, and I'm excited to get back to it here in a second and hopefully drive to the front.
Did you get a read on what you need out there, even with the rain coming down?
I feel like I was in a spaceship there for a while. I mean, I can't explain enough how different an Xfinity car is from a Cup car these days, and especially, like I said, just getting used to the tires and the truck arms and everything. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's still a race car, and you're going to drive as fast as you can. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we can get racing. I feel like I've been running in the rain, or sitting in the rain for a while. What would be really bad is if it got called off, and then we ran the Cup car, and then we got back in the Xfinity car later, I'd be all messed up. But like I said, thanks to Matt Collick for calling me last night and want me to drive his race car. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, Justin. Good luck the rest of the way. Guys?
It's been a good year for Colleague in the Xfinity Series. 3 wins, 2 in that 10 car, courtesy of A.J. Allmendinger and Kyle Larson. Let's go back, and we heard some interviews.
It looks like there's no
Justin
mist at
Allgaier,
all
Cole
anymore,
Custer,
but
talking about the incident
I
on
can't
pit
even really
road
tell.
and the contact. Walk me through this, fellas.
Well, you know, when you come in as a leader, you feel like you're going to do a good job getting on pit road.
I'm getting sick of
And when
this
we talk
shit.
about the importance of pit stops, I know we think about the pit crew, but you getting
That's one
stopped on your
race,
side,
bro.
the timing for those tire changes, they have a certain mark that they want you to stop on, so they're in the right place. And when you throw that off, it messes up the whole sequence. You see also, Michael, he's
I don't even
moving
care
so
about
close
this
to the
race. I
wall,
care
so
more about the
Jack
Cup
is having a
race,
hard
like-
time getting the car jacked up. And the reason this pit
Maybe we
stop
get that
so
one
important
started?
is because the sequence of events that now happens. He has a bad pit stop, so it's going to affect him. But as he exits pit road, you see Cole Custer's on his outside. Sheldon Creed gets into it. Cole Custer's done nothing wrong in all this, Michael. But now we think he might have to come down to pit road and work on his car because of a mistake that Justin Allgaier feels like he made getting in his pit stop.
Yeah, he slid through. And Jamie, we know how hard these pit crews practice. Hours and hours all week long, choreographing the stops perfectly. And when you mess it up as a driver, it just hurts your heart.
Oh, you could tell that he was so frustrated with himself, right?
Yeah, you just want to do perfect stops so the boys can do their job and get those 13, 14-second pit stops and get you back out in the lead. And he just sort of feels like he let his team down with that stop.
100%. And if you have to come around somebody, or if there's a tire on pit road that you have to come around, you know that's going to be an issue. But when you come in as a leader, you're expected to come in, stop on your pit stall, and be in the right place. And I think that's why you saw him so frustrated.
And his defense a bit, it was damp down there, so you got to take that into consideration. But the pit road was a little bit damp, and he just overestimated the grip he was going to have stopping in his box.
He was pitting midway down pit road. Number 1 pit stall, John Hunter Nemechek drives out, and he was the best of the bunch. So what he lost on that opening run, he got back on pit road. Ryan Sieg stayed out there. He's the race leader. Red flag is out as the mist continues in Charlotte.
You might just have to move back the Cup race, yeah.
With wet AMD, sometimes I worry my world is getting smaller.
I mean, I
because
think
of
that
my
we
sight.
should
But
finish
now,
one race before we start
I
another
can
race.
open
I
up
don't
my
like
world with
I don't like doing
Vabysmo.
that where you start another race when another one is still in the middle of it.
the first FDA-approved treatment for people with wet AMD that improves vision and delivers a chance for up to 4 months between treatments, which means doing more of what I love. Vabysmo is the only treatment designed to block 2 causes of wet AMD.
Vabysmo is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye, or are allergic to it or any of its ingredients. Treatments like Vabysmo can cause eye infection or retinal detachment. Vabysmo may cause a temporary increase in eye pressure after receiving the injection. Although uncommon, there is a potential risk of heart attack or stroke associated with blood clots.
Open up your world.
A chance for up to 4 months between treatments with Vabysmo. Ask your doctor.
Look at these steaks, they're great.
Yeah, kind of thought I had the aisle, but...
Hot nuts, popcorn, bundle and save. Nuts and popcorn and savings. Just like bundling your home and car with Geico.
Yeah, in fact, hot nuts are like home insurance.
I get it. Rebecca explained it pretty clearly.
Whoa!
Hey, I know you.
Yeah, hi.
Now you, the guy who helped me bundle my home and car, he's great. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
Probably thought you were somebody else.
Okay.
See how much you could save by bundling with Geico.
This is Sonoma. This is what the drivers will see. And this is what you'll see. Drivers, you. Drivers, you.
It just got really interesting in Sonoma.
And this is what everyone came to see. Get your tickets now at SonomaRaceway.com.
Immortality. Welcome to the Belmont Stage.
Drivers told to get back in their cars, still misting but lighter.
The world's most famous final furlong comes to Fox. The 2023 Belmont Stakes, June 10th.
Heart-pounding design, intelligent technology, courageous performance. Discover a new world of possibilities in the Lexus RX. Never lose your edge.
One bite of 100% Angus beef ballpark frank, you'll see. golf season.
Just shy of noon on the East Coast. Good to have you with us. Live from Charlotte Motor Speedway on FS1 is part one of our NASCAR doubleheader. And you can see they are uncovering the cars. We got 20 laps in. Got a competition caution. The mist picked up here at Charlotte, so they decided to put out the red flag. But we are closing on being ready to go one more time. I like this.
Got that right, Adam. And visibly, you can see the skies are brightening a bit. Things are looking more positive.
It's cloudy there in the west, but no mist.
The drivers are going to go out there and get a feel for it. And if the mist holds off, we will go back racing shortly. How'd you like that call?
I like the idea of getting the cars back out there. I think that will help drive the track and get those guys back in their right gear. Look, it was all those guys talked about how heavy the mist was, but they were able to race. So if we can get it started again,
exactly, it's just a race.
Hopefully be
it's just mist.
Caution free for a while and get some laps in.
We get to race 900 miles today. How about that?
Let's put that in perspective. 900 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you're driving, you could get to Key West.
That's your favorite vacation spot, right, Adam?
Yeah. You can do round trip to Pittsburgh or Nashville. Get up to Boston. St. Louis, where we're going next week.
Now we can get a head start.
You ever driven 900 miles in a day?
No.
No? Zero chance, right?
I drove 800 here one day.
I did too, with you, actually.
We were in that, both in that race?
That's right.
That was in the fall when we had a rain out, ran both Cup and Xfinity on the same day.
If I remember correct, after the Cup race, I looked fresh, and Michael didn't.
Well, you're quite the athlete, baby, and so everybody knows that you're a marathon runner, a triathlete.
If I remember correct, you were a marathon runner at that time as well.
Well, I remember so vividly racing that morning in the Xfinity car, and then going to the bus and spending 3 or 4 hours just trying to get myself freshened up and ready to go
again. I think
again.
we went and got IVs, and then I think everybody at that time went and got IVs, and it was fun. We both had good cars, if I remember correct, in both races.
All right, more from the crowd as the drivers get back in their cars. Y'all gotta hurry though, get back in your cars. Like I ain't trying to.
Driving the 19 car before
Need some hustle here.
this evening. Home to iconic wins for Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and American Pharoah. The most famous final furlong in the history of racing is coming to Fox. Don't miss the 2000
America's Got Talent returns tomorrow.
June 10th only on Fox.
It's going to be quite the final furlong, Adam. That's one of the most exciting moments in sports.
We had fans tweeting us the other night how many furlongs we had left in that truck race. I don't remember what that math equation was, so I'm just going to let that one lay there. You know, you're living right because you were in the studio all day yesterday when it rained.
And now I'm here to try.
You come out here, and we're going to throw it to the studio to get you out of work.
I looked out today. I think we did 4.5, 5 hours of rain today. There they are.
Throw it to Shannon, Jamie.
Shannon, can you hear us?
What's up, Jamie? I feel like we're at Michigan in 2008. I was just telling these guys.
We thought we would let you guys enjoy a little bit of rainfill today with us.
Hey, Shannon, let me say this, though. The man 2 over from you, David Reagan, looks a whole lot better than the driver that was sitting there yesterday. Let me say that.
Well, I'm fresh, Adam. They called me, and I was sitting on the bench, and they said, you're going in, David. Come on. So I had a good night's rest last night.
Yeah, David Reagan, the 6th man today in studio. We'll take it for a few minutes, let you guys get a bathroom break, get something to eat, whatever you need to do before this race gets started. America's crew chief Larry McReynolds, of course, David Reagan. Listen, I mean, it's raining, it's not raining, it's raining, it's not raining. We did get 25 laps in. So as a crew chief, you're saying what to your driver about what they can identify about what they learned?
Yeah, I don't know that we learned a whole lot because I get a feeling that racetrack was a little bit damp the entire time from the drop of the green flag. And I told David Reagan, I said, you mark my word, we're going to get that competition cost at lap 20, and we're going to have pit stops. And before we can go back green, the mist is going to pick up, and lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened. I'd be hard-pressed to read a lot in those first 20 laps. The track was very green with no rubber, and I think it actually had a little bit of moisture on it.
Then you lied to me, because when I sat down here, I said, so once this thing goes green, we're going...
I'll tell you what you want to hear.
We're going racing, right? I mean, this is going to be good. What can you learn, or how do you kind of approach those 25 laps from the car?
From a driver's perspective, Shannon, it's so hard to get in a rhythm. You know, first off, it's been 48 hours since these race cars were on the racetrack Friday afternoon. A lot of these drivers went back home. They took it easy the last couple of days. So to show up at the racetrack, you're kind of off your rhythm anyway. You finally get buckled in, you're ready to go racing. And then it's so frustrating when you fire off, your car's doing one thing, you see the mist on your windshield, and you heard a few drivers kind of voice their uncertainty almost. Well, I didn't know if it was the racetrack changing grip levels, if it was my race car changing a little bit. So they're a little unsure on what feedback to give to their crew chief. They're trying to be a little conservative, not to tear anything up. So it's very hard to get into that rhythm. They want to get back in the race car so they can make sure they understand what's going on.
The good thing is we go back racing, and we will go back racing. We're going to only have about 20 laps until the end of stage one. So that'll give them another read, another measuring stick about where their car actually stacks up.
Yeah, and then you hear guys like Parker Kligerman, whose car is really good. Do you say, whoa, buddy, take it easy. Don't get too optimistic, because we don't really know what this track is going to be like once we get back out there.
Well, you shouldn't have as big of a swing in track temperature today. It should stay fairly consistent. You know, once they do get back on the racetrack, that racetrack takes a little bit of rubber. I do feel like the cars that were really good when they fired off will probably still have some speed in them. But if my driver's happy and excited, I'm going to try to harness that and say, all right, you go out there and keep being aggressive. Because it is, even though it's a rain-delayed race, they've been in and out of the race car, this race is still going to award a checkered flag to somebody, and it's an important race, so you got to keep that driver focused and really have the big picture and not let that escape.
Sounds like Cole Custer is going to be fun to watch, because based on damage on pit road, sounds like they're going to bring that 00 back in, make some repairs just so he doesn't cut a tire down. He's got a fast 00 car, so he will be trying to make as much hay as he can before the end of stage one.
Is that like, hey,
no,
make as much,
like, get it all you can while you can.
Hey, let's look at the playoff leaderboard, why don't we, as we see those cars heading out to the track. I guess the jet dryers have pulled off, but this is a playoff leaderboard after 11 races. We've got Austin Hill, who I'm sure we will speak to at some point today, and John Hunter Nemechek. Those guys have been the class of the field all season long. Chandler Smith right behind him in third, Jeff Burton in fourth, and Sammy Smith in fifth. And the cutoff line right there, you've got the previous champ Daniel Hemrick and Parker Kligerman kind of hugging that playoff line right there in 12th and 13th. One guy that you don't see on there I want to ask you about real quick is Justin Haley. We heard from him during that rain delay, and he said he's sliding around in that seat because, of course, he was called in to race for Kyle Busch.
The red flag has been
no longer going to
lifted.
be in this race racing the Cup Series. Have you ever experienced that? I know that you used to do the double duty stuff and go back and forth, but have you ever been like sliding around because the seat is not right for you?
Yeah, I've had to fit in Mark Martin's seat before, where my knees were almost at the steering wheel and I was hunched over. Then I've had to, drive some for a Carl Edwards or someone that was a little.
So the red flag has been lifted. We're gonna go racing again soon.
Hold yourself up, trying to get comfortable, and also try to think about the race car. And Justin talked about it in his interview, Shannon. It's been a year or two since he's been in one of these Xfinity cars. The Xfinity cars drive a lot different than the next-gen cars.
Since there was no race yesterday, I watched the
it's a little bit of a
Liga MX final go on into and Daniel Suarez's favorite team after being down to it. What?
At the back of the pack, he's running P16 right now.
Oh,
so he has made
Daniel Suarez's favorite team won after being down 2-0. Who's Daniel Suarez's favorite team?
They'll continue to work on that race car. He looked like he was smiling and having a little bit of fun.
I watched the Monaco and Indy 500 yesterday.
Those points, and I heard this morning, at this point last year, Junior Motorsports had already won 3 or 4 races. They dominated this race a year ago with Josh Berry going to victory lane, and here we are more than a third of the way through their entire season. Junior, they have a lot of drivers above the cut line. Every driver except Brandon Jones, who's had a little bit of a rough start over there, but they have not found victory lane, and we're almost a third of the way, or over a third of the way through the season. It's really hard to believe.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier obviously starting this race on the pole, but he did get some damage on pit road during that pit stop, so we'll see how that kind of evolves. You mentioned kind of dominating, right? It's not Junior Motorsports' year so far to dominate, but the two drivers who really have been dominating are Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek. Take a look at that. 5 wins combined between the two of those. Top 5, top 6, average finish in the top 10, and they are just leading laps. And these are the two that were really kind of looking
About time you woke up. I've been awake since 6 a.m.
We don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of going for it. But I'm going to give you John Hunter Nemechek.
That tire bouncing over the fence is crazy. Yeah, man. I'm just happy everyone's all right. Barely missed the fence. Barely missed the stands.
But I will say this, whether it's Austin Hill or John Hunter Nemechek, we leave Charlotte. 3 of the next 4 races we're going road course racing, including the streets of downtown Chicago. That's going to tell us a lot. It could end up separating those 2 out, because outside of that, everything they've done this year is almost a mirror of each other.
Yeah, they're within 1 point of each other in the point standings. But what I've been impressed with Austin Hill about, Shannon, is got those wins so early in the year, and for him to be able to come out and win at Las Vegas. His only career wins before that were at Daytona and in Atlanta, both super speedway style racing. So when I think of Austin Hill and that RCR team, I didn't really expect them to be championship contenders, but getting 3 wins this early in the seasons, he's coming off back-to-back top 5s at Dover and Darlington. So they do have some speed in that Chevrolet out of RCR. And so as Austin Hill continues to mature as a driver, get better, those.
All right, can we go back out to the track? Why are you guys still like showing them talking in like the Charlotte studio? Just go back out to the track now.
I'm a little concerned where they're at the shorter tracks, at the road courses. I think that's right now maybe where John Hunter Nemechek holds a little bit of advantage, but as we get through the summer months, that'll tell us a lot about that.
Give me another name, someone else besides John.
Bro, get out of the Charlotte studio. Go back to the track. We're under yellow again.
Player to make that top 4.
His last name's Smith, and there's 2 of them.
Jeez.
Chandler Smith and Sammy Smith, they have been so impressive this year. Both of them have found victory lane. Sammy Smith, a little inconsistent with his finishes, but I think once these 2 young drivers get more time, we start maybe going back to some racetracks for a second time, I think they can really move toward the forefront.
Yeah, I want to shine a spotlight on Cole Custer, one of the guys below that win column right now. He was so off the first few races this year, but he's really hit a stride. The last 5 races, he's got top 10s in all of those, Shannon. And when I look at him, he's got the most experience out of a lot of those guys. So I think he's just scratching the surface. And once he can find victory lane, I think he's going to be a threat this summer and certainly going into the playoffs.
That's been the interesting dynamic is Stewart Haas Racing. You have Riley Hurt, that 98 car, could do no wrong when the season started.
Yeah.
Top 10s week in and week out. Cole Custer couldn't find one. You look at the last month or so, they went this way. Riley Hurts can't even hardly find a top 20, and now Cole Custer's picking those top 5, top 10s out.
All right, that's big picture for who's good on the season. Let's take a look at who's good at Charlotte, right? We've got the best average finish of active drivers at this specific racetrack. So kind of who you might want to keep your eye on. There's your guy right there, Cole Custer. Larry, you just mentioned him. Daniel Hemrick, Jeb Burton, Justin Allgaier, Brett Moffitt, and Brandon Jones. These are the guys who have the best average finish with a minimum of 3 starts at this racetrack. You already talked Cole. Maybe let's talk Daniel Hemrick a little bit, and then we could go Jeb, Brandon, or Brett. Let's start with Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick has been one of those guys that is always just right under that spot where he can lead some laps, he has solid finishes, but he just struggles finding victory lane. Now, he's got a lot of victories on the Legends Car racetrack on the quarter mile at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but you know, I think he's the flagship car for Colleague Racing, and yeah, he needs a win. You know, I think that would propel those guys to have a little bit more confidence, and his teammates have been able to get some wins in that all-star car for Colleague. So, yeah, he's got a great average finishing position at Charlotte over his career. So I know he wants another shot at a victory lane today.
You want to go Jeb with Jordan Anderson Racing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Jesus, y'all go back to the track.
That organization
like,
is still growing, but he has had good speed so far this week. Qualified up inside the top 10. I don't know that they had that great of a pit stop. But definitely, I think that would be the next rung in the ladder for that organization.
Favorite team is the Tigers.
Let's get a solid run, maybe good top 5s at the intermediates. We know we can win at the super speedways, but honestly, going back to that list, I think Justin.
Or you can take off the thing that says we're under a weather delay. We're not anymore.
Experience just seems to prevail at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Nobody has more experience than Justin Allgaier. He's already proved he's got speed in practice on Friday, in qualifying, and I think he's going to be just fine. Honestly, I felt like he slid through his pits because that concrete pit road, pit box was a little bit wet.
Yeah. All right, well, let's not forget what this day is really about, right? It's about racing, obviously, but it's also Memorial Day. So all of you at home that are joining us for our coverage today, staying out holding out the rain and continuing to stay with us, we thank you very much. And, of course, we thank all of the servicemen and servicewomen for all of their service to our country. Adam, I I think I saw cars on the racetrack, which is a very good sign as we get ready to maybe get this thing started again. Back to you, Jamie and Michael.
Thank you so much, Shannon. I want to go back to what Larry was talking about. And Justin Allgaier, he's won 19 times in his career. He's never won here at Charlotte. And I asked him about boxes he wants to check. He's never won at Daytona, Talladega. I know he would love to win here. He said, I want to get up north of 24 wins because that's how many career wins Dale Jr. had, the boss man. I want to pass him. I said, that would be a fun trophy to deliver on Monday morning, would it not? There you go. You guys can add if you want. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll tell you what I'm going to add, Adam. I want to dial up to 39 of Ryan Sieg. He's leading this race. Get a report what the track's looking like. Ryan Sieg, Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy, buddy?
Gotcha, Mikey.
Well, I got a couple of questions. First of all, how's the track looking? How do you feel about going back racing? You can answer that. And then the second one, what's the strategy here? What's your plan to be able to win this race today?
Yeah, the track is much better. I was a little worried the last when I was in the lead last time, but much better now. And strategy, we're just trying to get the track position, just put ourselves farther forward right here, and try to hopefully win the race here. Maybe a rain-short race here in Charlotte. So that's our strategy for our CMR Ford Mustangs, is trying to get the track position and get up right.
And we're just about 3 hours from the green flag at Cup race.
Practice, so just looking forward to getting going here. I want to say hello to my daughter. She broke her arm yesterday on her trampoline at home. So she had surgery this morning. Hopefully she's doing better.
Oh, that's sad. I'm glad you got to say hello to her. Love the family team. Love what y'all do. You were 39th at the start, 19th in the middle. Now you're first. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to get the one to go next time around. Justin Allgaier's 6th right now.
What do you think about the track? NASCAR's asking. I think the track's fine. I mean, at this point, it's still better than it was when we were under green, so why not go?
Exactly.
That's the attitude. Let's go.
Like, stop wasting everyone's time. Just let's go.
Chandler Smith.
Unless it's really bad rain, don't. Or unless if it's like actual rain, don't stop it. Mist, we can run with mist.
Well, that's interesting because the tank's full, so the banking shouldn't affect that pickup at all. And I would say if he's having a problem, it's something other than a pickup issue right now.
Are we coming to one to go, Adam?
One to go, which means the choose. And we're going to have about 15 laps to go in the stage. And I'm really anxious to see how all these strategies play out. Because you're going to get 15 laps on these tires. Do you stay out at the end of the stage and go on the same tires you used at the competition caution? How do you handle this?
Well, and everyone's going to see how Ryan Sieg performs on these 20-lap tires. If he's able to hang on, even if he can just hang on into the top 5, it's going to change the strategy, I think, of what some of the crew chiefs see on pit road. Look, historically, Charlotte, when it's a green racetrack like we had, it wears tires out for the first couple of stops. So I would think he's going to have a hard time hanging on, but you just never know. I like the fact he chose the outside, though. If he can get a good initial start, a good launch on those older tires, I think the outside is going to be the preferred lane, being in that traction compound in turns 22.
You know, no matter what, everybody's going to hear, well, the 39 faded. The 39, you know, that's building confidence in your driver when you're trying to sell them your plan for strategy.
It's interesting to see Cole Custer, they elected to stay out. You know, he said during that rain delay that he thought they might have to come down for that crush panel rubbing. We'll have to pay attention to that, see if we see any smoke out of the 00 car, but he's definitely one of the cars that's going to contend to win this race, and they've taken a little bit of a risk here probably staying out.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. I'm sure the crew were able to get a good eyeball on the car and see what they exactly needed to do.
Here we go.
It was okay. Don't want to give up that track position.
John Hunter Nemechek on the race off pit road. He's inside.
We'll go back green.
Race leader, the control car, Ryan Sieg. Row 2, Ty Gibbs, Cole Custer, Creed Allgaier, row 3.
And the green flag is in the air. We're racing again from Charlotte.
Well, those guys knew Ryan was on old tires, did not want to mess with him. Cole Custer was able to get to his inside.
He just wanted to push, and he didn't get it.
Yeah, and if you're Cole Custer, you can't push him because he's spinning the tires so bad. So all all those crew chiefs now have made their decision that they will be putting tires on the stage break.
You can see the 39 has settled in there on the outside, about 10th position. A big slip there by Custer on the outside.
Getting a report there is a tire up for the 00 Cole Custer.
See if we can see any smoke.
11's got the rub. I think you're fine. The 11 definitely has a rub. I see a little bit now. I
Yeah.
see a little bit on.
I mean, there's a little bit of a rub there, guys, but if that doesn't get worse, I'm not overly concerned. We saw in practice, Parker Kligerman and some of those other cars had pretty big tire rubs and didn't seem to affect the car.
Oh, there's a big slip by C. He's up in front of the line on the outside as Cass Brawlin and the 26 goes by and 3 wide behind them.
Yeah, just 2 laps. He's went from being the leader, Ryan Sieg, back to 12. So, yeah, tires just really important to start the race here.
You mentioned Cass Brawlin. Boy, he's having a good day. They were really bad in practice, not great in qualifying. Drove right up inside the top 20, getting scored 11th right now as the 26.
Chandler Smith trying to work the bottom of the racetrack on Custer.
Yeah, and the one thing that the 00 is going to be able to do is when they come in and put tires on here in a little bit, they'll be able to look at that tire. Because if it's rubbing on the tread of the tire, that's not near as big of a deal as if it's on the sidewall of the tire. So they'll be able to evaluate how bad is that rub and if they need to come in and work on it again after the pit stop.
21 is Austin Hill. He's been quiet today, really quiet all weekend long. Back-to-back 4th place finishes for the driver that's won 3 times this year.
Yeah, and you know, Adam, we talked about some guys having good turns 1 and 2 and qualifying in a bad 3 and 4. He was on the pole by 2 or 3 tenths heading into turn 3, really tight on the exit. You know that he was able to win at Vegas earlier this year on a 1.5-mile track. He definitely is one of those guys that you got to keep your eye on today. Michael, look at Brett Moffitt. I mean, all race long, right around the top, and has been able to make that work for him.
Right behind him since the beginning. Right behind him is Josh Berry. Josh closing into the top.
They're lined up there. No room between.
Into that top line as well.
Yeah, the one thing right here that you see at Brett Moffitt's front windshield is that Riley Herbst moved up in front of him. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for him.
We check out our Toyota top performers. They're 1-2. Drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing, Nemechek leading Gibbs. Sammy Smith from 18th to 12th. And saw the rest of the lineup there. A bad day for the guys from Sam Hunt Racing.
Sheldon Creed elected to try that high side as Justin Allgaier closes in.
Yeah, one thing to watch, guys, is when you see, like we watched Justin Allgaier as he enters the corner, 1 and 2, but mainly into turn 3, you know he's driving the car hard, and when he's able to stay on that white and blue line and not slide up, like right there, he's able to see slid up just a little bit. Once you slide up just that little bit, you have to roll out of the gas, and he was committed to trying to slide up in front of Sheldon Creed in that corner, but it's so important to keep that left front, your left side's on that line.
Honestly, what NASCAR's going to have to realize is we're just going to have to deal with the mist. We're just going to have to race in the mist. They're fine. They're clearly fine doing it. They've been doing it every lap that they've raced. Every green flag lap has been under mist, and we've been perfectly fine. So NASCAR's got to realize unless it actually picks up to something serious, just fucking do it. Just go with it.
Similar battles we saw with Allgaier and Ty Gibbs earlier. Ty Gibbs has...
Having the cars on the track will probably keep the track from actually getting wet. If you keep red flagging it, then you're actually going to have to dry it. Don't waste our time.
But as that leader moves up and gets into the traction compound, it's so hard to complete that. I think what he's going to have to do is figure out how to enter higher on the entry to the corner and just run an overall higher line around the track. John Hunter's leaving him just a little bit on the outside. To me, I would start working that outside groove and seeing if I could get to the right of the quarter panel.
And you know this, Jamie, the spotter says, take his air away. He's running up, make some ground, you go up there. These drivers are just constantly in communication with their spotters and their team to understand who's running where and how to best take advantage of the other drivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's where your spotter comes into play. You're looking at your rearview mirror, and you're wanting verification from that spotter of what you see out of the mirror. Is that exactly what he's seeing from the top? And as you say, kind of driving out of the back of the car, just trying to take air away.
5 laps to go on the stage. Teammates racing for position. Denied Brandon Jones, the 1 Sam Mayer. Josh Berry continues the climb.
What about Daniel Hemrick up in the 3rd spot, having a good run here?
He's a sleeper at Charlotte. Second here a couple of years ago, led a bunch of laps. I think it was 2021, his championship year, when you felt like he was going to win this race.
Watch this crossover. Josh Berry sees what Riley Herbst is doing and says, I'll take it on the low side.
again. They've been battling back and forth. Josh Berry obviously won here last year. He's really good at giving up a little bit on entry. He's going to give up a little bit of speed on entry. He's able to get back to the gas right there, drive right around the outside of the corner on the top side of the racetrack, and has all the momentum down the straightaway now.
There's Carson Rosenbauer, that 77 up 10 spots since the restart, so he's doing a nice job again today. He's going to try to slip inside of Hurts.
Yeah, now this is a much harder pass to complete because Riley, to me, is in the preferred lane. You're going to see he has the momentum on the exit of the corner. With Riley running that top of the racetrack, it's really hard to... Oh, we got a pass to the lead right there. So
all right, Ty Gibbs passes John Nemechek for the lead and just drives away from him.
A little bit loose, but got a little too aggressive. Lost some momentum, and Ty Gibbs is able to get
Just with 3 to go in the stage.
2 to go in the stage.
Coming to 2 to go.
It's Ty Gibbs who jumps to the lead.
Oh, you see...
Oh, that's why John Nemechek got in the wall.
Into turn 1 where the car landed, got into the wall a little bit. And you know what? The thing about these cars, and we talk about it every week on here, is because of that composite body, you just don't see a tire right now. As long as there's no suspension damage, which I don't know that he hit hard enough to have that car is going to be just fine.
But Nemechek running for the championship. He wants all those points he can get, whether you're talking about winning the stage or getting another playoff point. And he's got 4 stage wins this year, but it looks like he's going to come up short in stage 1 at Charlotte. Allgaier goes back by Henrik as they continue to race for 3rd. Final lap, first stage at Charlotte. Ty Gibbs leads.
How many crossovers have we seen already? I mean, they take advantage of that run off.
Yeah, the track, for not having any rubber on it and having to have this break with the rain, the track is extremely racy early on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Gibbs won the championships last year.
Looks like there's a little more mist on the camera.
Won his first Charlotte start in Xfinity competition 2 years ago. Good start to the day for the 19. Running 900 miles, and he wins stage 1. Does Ty Gibbs. Second to his teammate John Hunter Nemechek. Allgaier, Hendrick freed the top 5. Good points for Chandler Smith. Austin Hill, who came in second in the championship, is 7th. Barry from the back to 8th. Cole Custer settles 9th, and Riley Herbst gets that last stage point.
Cole Custer was really into that caution, Adam. They're going to come in and check that 0-0 car out. He had fallen back somewhat.
Ty Gibbs, your Charlotte leader, picking up his 14th career stage win.
Now here's what I guarantee: when we come back from commercial break, the cars will be down pit road, like not pitting, like stopped. They'll be pulling them back down pit road.
Pretzel crust is back. Or is it? Nah, seriously, it's back. Maybe. No, it's back. Pizza, pizza. Maybe.
The Barn Bar. The county's best hangout. Just got better. Here's to living smooth with the always smooth, easy drinking Keystone Light.
At the Tiny Cats Innovation Lab, we live to solve litter issues. Odor control? Under control. Absorption? Absolutely. Clumping? Conquered. Performance is part of every Tiny Cats litter. No wonder we're America's #1 litter.
Heart-pounding design, intelligent technology, courageous performance. Discover a new world of possibilities in the Lexus RX. Never lose your edge.
How do we still know so little about the ocean?
How does she still have cable when Hulu Plus Live TV has over 85 live channels, plus access to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus?
Have the Oakland A's even reached 10 wins yet?
It makes sense. You guys talking about me?
They probably have. They've had to. Yeah. Oh, they just hit 10. Or they're at 10, but they're on an 11-game losing streak. So their last win before that was their 10th win. They are atrocious, dude. They are disrespect to baseball.
This is Bandit. He founded Underdog Fantasy so that humans who really love sports play with their friends and win some big prizes. Tell your human to go to UnderdogFantasy.com today.
The Subway series is elevating your favorite sub. Why mess with the sweet onion teriyaki, Chuck? Man, this ain't messing. This perfecting. The marinated chicken and double cheese. Sweet and savory. Kind of like you and me, Chuck. Bye, pig. Try to refresh favorites at Subway today.
Whopper, Whopper, build your Whopper. Barbecue, making more cheese, no shocker. However you like to top your Whopper, you know what we'll say. BK, have it your way.
Stage 1 complete.
Okay, I was wrong.
Series in Charlotte. Ty Gibbs.
Oh, no, I wasn't wrong.
Over his teammate.
I wasn't wrong.
Hunter Nemechek. Pace car driver's been busy today. It's the all-new Toyota.
Another red flag
GR
from
Supra
Mist.
leading the field.
Truex gave me a ride around the Roval, actually, in that car. I'll never get one of those again.
With him.
He thought it was just the funniest thing to scare me, and I saw no humor in it at all. I think he had just woke up. It was around noon.
I asked for a ride at COTA a couple of years ago. First time we went there, I said, could we get a pace car ride just to see the place, get a feel for it? They said, sure. And then I went down after practice, and they handed me the keys. I said,
no, I don't want to drive.
And I drove. And then I got a little confidence, and I came down the front straightaway to the big
This is
hill,
ridiculous,
and
bro.
on the radio that was sitting in the car, they said, slow it down, the pace car. I thought for sure my heart card was going to be taken away. The Mist is back. And so they're going to bring the cars down pit road and put the jet fires back out there. What a frustrating couple of days this has been.
There's the damage to the 20 of John Hunter. Minimal, I think. They'll get a chance to survey it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if his steering wheel's off, because that's the tell sign, right? If you bent anything in the front, the back will probably be okay.
We're hearing the drivers are going to stay in their cars. At least that is the plan as of now. And NASCAR and the track feel like it's going to take them about 10 minutes to run the jet dryers around and get this racing.
Are they going to do this
facility
every
where it needs to
fucking
be.
caution?
And you go bigger picture with this rain delay and pushing the race from Saturday to Monday comes at a really bad time for teams, because next up, 2 races on the West Coast. I mean, in 5 days, they're racing in Portland on the road course, and then going from there, Hollywood helping keep our campers
Hollywood, it is.
in condition.
Well, the good news is, Adam, next week in Portland, if it does rain,
well, we're okay there.
We're going to race in it, yeah. And it most likely it's going to.
We found out last year that you can race in the rain.
I don't think it ever stops in Portland.
Doubled up on pit road. Take a break here, see if we can catch a break with the weather.
Mentioned the importance of points. 2 names that jump out to me. Nemechek, who's second. We talked about him. Austin Hill, who gets 4 points down there. And they came in with only 1 point separating them when you look at the regular season standings. So everything they do from now to the end of the regular season is going to be huge as they try to become the regular season champion and get those 15 playoff points.
Josh Berry from the back to score some stage points there.
Hey, and Sheldon Creed. We were talking about this during practice the other day, but if you look at where he was points-wise a year ago through 11 races compared to now, this is a group that has made...
Drivers are told to stay in their cars.
They're well above the cut line and getting stage points once again here today. Nice work by the 2. Red flag is out. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Shannon and the fellas will have the ball from the studio. Hopefully we'll be racing again soon from Charlotte.
So, I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime.
Ready for some real heat?
Your workspace is ready. Looks like you got a corner office. Lucky.
When you're part of Toyota Racing, you're part of something greater. Toyota, let's go places.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere? And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again? Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Here's your biggie bag. All that food for $5, that's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
You can always bet on Biggie. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag.
Meet Ultimate Hybrid, advanced ceramic and wax technology. The best of both worlds, but better. Only from Mothers.
This is the most ridiculous bullshit.
I need to try it first.
The sports world loves the USFL. Here we go. This is the gridiron phenomenon that fans are going crazy for. Real pros, real football for real fans. The USFL action kicks off Sunday at 1 and 4 Eastern on Fox.
There it is, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the cars have once again been brought down pit road, and the rain is misting again. So I'm sure we'll see the jet dryers out on the racetrack in just a few minutes. Hi everyone, we're back. Shannon, Larry, and David. Bill Murray is not in studio with us, and Puxatawny Phil is not in studio with us either. Groundhog's Day, of course, if you didn't get the reference. We almost made it 50 laps again out of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I feel like a broken record asking you, what'd you see?
It's like that little engine and could. We just keep checking off a few more laps at a time, Shannon. I think Ty Gibbs has been the best car so far. I know he hasn't led the most laps, but he's been constantly chasing that leader down, whether it was Justin Allgaier before the first rain or John Hunter Nemechek right here. But looks like he's got the car that's got the most speed. But man, I'm seeing a lot of drivers being aggressive, already running all 3 lanes of the racetrack. Definitely a sense of urgency out there with all those guys. Well, we may possibly be racing for the end of stage 2, which we know is just a little over 40 laps from now, which would be lap 90. That way the race would be official. We're not saying that's what we're doing, but I get a feeling that's what these crew chiefs, these drivers are thinking. But there's another player lurking back there, and we talked to him during that last red flag. Josh Berry in that 8 car, who won this race a year ago, started at the tail of the field because of power steering issues. He made his way to 17th by the end of that competition caution, and now at the end of stage 1, he has cracked the top 10. He may be a player here shortly.
Josh Berry. I'm writing his name down.
Write it down.
I'm writing it down. He's currently in 8th. We'll see where he is in 25. I'm kidding. Hopefully we're not back in 25 laps. Hopefully we make it to the end of stage 2. So if you've been a NASCAR fan for the last 25 years, you probably remember the name Lyndon Amick. He was a fixture in the Xfinity Series in the late 90s and early 2000s. After his racing career, he served in the military. And on this Memorial Day, we want to remind you of his story and his journey.
On the outside, everybody thought everything.
I'm going to take a piss. This is some ridiculous bullshit.
I don't know that I could be who I am if I hadn't gone through some of that. On the other side is the first time I felt freedom in my life. I grew up here in South Carolina, and I went to a dirt race. I didn't even know that world existed, and so it was the coolest thing in the world to me. NASCAR became the answer, and at that time, the Goodies Dash Series existed.
He's gonna do it! Lyndon Amick wins the Daytona USA 200!
We won 4 races in '96, won the championship. I was like, well, okay, well then, what's the next step? Well, it's got to be the next tier. If you're going to be doing NASCAR at that level, it takes everything that you have.
At the core, when it really becomes who you are, there's an added stress because you have good weeks and you have bad weeks.
Something happened on the inside of me. Post 9/11, I had felt like, what am I doing with my life? 10 years from go-karts to NASCAR, had not had this level of success that I wanted, and it was time to do something different. Talladega of '03 was my last race. Getting in a wreck, was sliding down off the banking. I'm just like, I'm done. You know, as I pondered the freedoms that I was able to experience being an American, and I had some sense of the sacrifice that had been given in order for us to have the freedoms that we have, I felt like I owed something for that. Their birth, a desire to serve my country, and ultimately the National Guard was a great option for me. I think the experiences in Afghanistan changed me in 1,000 different ways. If we leave here and get in the car and drive down the road, we're not worried about getting blown up. Every time you wake up, you're faced with the reality of those are possibilities today. That's some serious residual effects. And you come back and you just don't know how to put it together.
It was very difficult for him to have normal conversations.
Had no clue of what it really meant to be a dad and what it really meant to be a husband. I mean, I love my kids, but I was not a good husband.
Say I'm bigger than you, Daddy.
Bigger than you, Daddy.
I lived this life just doing whatever I wanted to do. I mean, hardly ever home. I mean, I was running from myself.
The agitation, the on edge, not able to sleep. He was very broken at that point.
For me to get where I am today, which is living in peace and happiness and joy, was encountering God's love in a way that I never experienced before through Melanie. There was a response in me.
We'll need some time to dry the track.
Wanting to change who I was. It was a terrible and a beautiful thing all at the same time for your heart to be exposed to yourself. The catalyst was that act of me sitting down with Melanie and laying it all out there.
I just said, we need to be seen for who we are.
As hard as that conversation was, on the other side of the conversation is the first time I felt freedom in my life. The weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders and I felt peace. I went through all those different experiences, whether it was racing or the military, and as a dad now, and how much I value being a dad and how important I know it is in their life. I don't know that I could be who I am if I hadn't gone through some of that.
So I've seen that feature a couple of times now. Thank you, Amick, obviously, for sharing your story with us. It's so beautiful, but it hits me and touches me every single time I see it. This is what this weekend is all about.
It really is. And you know, I said this yesterday, and I actually put the tweet out this morning because I'm very confident and believe this with all my heart. It's Memorial Day weekend to honor our fallen military heroes. And the reason they could gather more than 250,000 people in Indy yesterday, the reason over the course of these several days at Charlotte we can gather over 100,000 people and we can all feel safe, we don't think twice about being there, is because of that ultimate sacrifice that our fallen military heroes made protecting our freedom.
And it's so great of a story about Lyndon Amick and his choice, Shannon, to go serve his country in the National Guard. He was a successful race car driver, family-owned business down in South Carolina, but he had that calling to go and serve his country and do those things that allow us to be here today talking about racing. So, you know, thank you to Lyndon and all the other servicemen and women out there. A special weekend, and it's great that we get to share his story and talk a little bit. And it's great to see that he's in such a good spot with his wife and his kids and his family. That's great.
I know I'm not the only one. I lost my 97-year-old grandfather last year, and he was a World War II veteran, part of airborne unit, one of the very first organized airborne units. And I grew up listening to stories of the battles that he was in and the friends that he served alongside. My father also a Vietnam veteran. He flew F-4s in the war, and so all of this stuff, friends that we meet along the way in our lifetime, Gold Star families, folks that you guys meet at the racetrack, not just on Memorial Day, but every single weekend, because this sport is so involved with the military aspect.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-race show for the Coca-Cola 600 is always so moving when you have all the different branches represented, all those men and women there. But every weekend, I think NASCAR does an outstanding job of remembering those soldiers and their families. You know, even though the soldiers are overseas or abroad,
serving our country. It's the families that are still here, that are still going through the motions without their loved ones. So a big shout out to all those families as well.
No, as long as I can remember, the Coke 600 has been on Memorial Day weekend my entire career in NASCAR. But several years ago, we started honor and remembrance, remembering our fallen military heroes. And I know I'm a little bit prejudiced, but you know what? I know a lot of people honor Memorial Day weekend and what it stands for, but I really don't believe anybody does it better than NASCAR, than Charlotte Motor Speedway, than the race teams, as well as Fox NASCAR.
Yeah, it was so great. A couple of years ago when Brad Keselowski won, and it was during COVID, and obviously the families couldn't be in Victory Lane with Brad. And so I think on Race Hub the next day, we actually got them together on a Zoom, and Brad called in and was able to share that moment with that family. So Larry just mentioned the 600 miles of remembrance, because every single driver in the field today in the Coca-Cola 600 will have the name, as you can see right there, of a fallen soldier. Brad Keselowski's number 6 car will carry the name of Staff Sergeant Curtis Roy Klein. So in 1969, Klein was listed missing in action at the age of 20, just 4 months into active duty during the Vietnam War. His brother and nephew, also veterans, have dreamed of this opportunity to honor Staff Sergeant Klein.
We were young boys, grew up on a farm. He was younger, and I rebuilt an engine in his car for him. You know, we did things like that together. And my brother was a good kid. It was hard seeing him go over to Vietnam. He was in the 4th Infantry Division, and he served on patrols over there, and he was right out there in it. They were crossing the river. He had a line that he was crossing the river with, and he lost his grip, and he was swept away. He was never seen again. The years went by, and they declared my brother dead. We lost him.
We big NASCAR fans, you know, growing up, trips to MIS when we was kids, and so we watch NASCAR races, and especially the Memorial Day race, because it's such a meaningful event.
And we're both veterans.
And we're both veterans. And so I wonder how someone gets their name put on a car like that. Wrote a letter. NASCAR got a hold of me about a month ago and said, we're going to be able to honor your uncle at the Coca-Cola 600.
Were you guys ready to see the
Saying the skies are getting brighter. That's good.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. When they see their family member or loved one's name on our cars, I think it hits them really hard that that person has not been forgotten, and that their service and sacrifice meant something to someone somewhere.
To honoring, to remembering, to have this story and these memories that, you know, we can share for our family.
I love him, and I'm proud of him.
You're always trying to, you know, make your parents proud, but especially your dad.
I love you, Dad.
Memorial Day means different things to different people, but to veterans, you know, especially,
it's just deeper.
Gold Star family veterans, the dead don't have a voice. And for your family member to be remembered, and for other people to say their name, they're not being forgotten.
Yeah.
I said this yesterday during the rainfill on the broadcast that I've been able to meet many Gold Star families, and that is the sentiment, right? It's just remembering their loved one. Donovan Reap, Staff Sergeant Donovan Reap, was the soldier that Brad raced for when he won that race, and we were able to Zoom with them. And
Drivers
obviously
told to
Staff
get
Sergeant
back in
Curtis
cars.
Klein this week for Brad
I thought they were
Keselowski.
still
But I'm
in their
wondering for
cars,
you,
but
I know
okay.
you were part of this many times, right? 600 miles of remembrance. You walked out to your car, you saw the name, maybe met the family. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was always an emotional week leading up to the race of Shannon. But one thing that's really neat, Staff Sergeant Klein was lost in 1969, and we're still here talking about his sacrifice today. And it's so great for, you know, his brother and his kid, his family, to remember that we haven't forgot about those guys, even if they were lost 60, 70 years ago. I had a special opportunity to remember a fallen soldier from the Iraq War that was a Georgia native, similar age to me, got to meet his family, and certainly a connection because me being from Georgia and their hometown was down in middle Georgia, but we were similar age, and that was just really hard to comprehend that, you know, I was a 21, 22-year-old racing in North America, having a lot of fun, but he was a similar age, fighting for our freedom overseas, and ultimately lost his life and paid the ultimate sacrifice. So yeah, a great opportunity to remember those fallen men and women, but also to say hello to their families and let them know that there's a big community that hasn't forgot about their sacrifice.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it means to these families like the Klein family to know, to David's point, over 50 years later, the key words, key phrases being still remembered, not forgotten. We heard it several times during that piece right there. And to know that their family member is being honored by their name being across the top of a windshield of a NASCAR Cup Series car. And then I can't imagine what a family feels like if we've seen many times, saw it with Denny Hamlin last year, going to victory lane and that name being on that windshield and them being to enjoy victory, knowing that their loved one is being honored and remembered.
And another really neat thing, most of the race teams remove that windshield and send it to the family. You know, the windshield gets used and abused during the 600-mile race, and we oftentimes sign it. A lot of times our whole team would sign it and send it to that family so they can have. So cool.
The word that keeps circling in my head listening to you talk about the experiences that you had is just brave, especially when you mentioned the young man that was the same age as you. Is just bravery, just the unselfish bravery that I don't think, I mean, we sitting here can't understand as these young men and women go to serve our country. So again, thank you on this Memorial Day as we're all out there. You know, if our barbecues and our families, remember the true meaning of what this day is all about. It's about all those men and women who serve for us. Right now, as you see, the track dryers are still out there at the racetrack. We're going to continue to wait out this most recent delay, but you do see some of those car covers coming off. So it looks like we're getting closer to going racing, guys.
All right, car cover's coming off.
Known as a loving parent. Known for lessons that matter. Known for being a free spirit. No one wants to be known for cancer, but a treatment can be. Keytruda is known to treat cancer. FDA approved.
Did the DQ discontinue the cherry dip?
One of those cancers
The cherry
is
dip?
advanced
I didn't even
non-squamous
hear about
non-small
that.
cell lung
So
cancer, where Keytruda is approved to be used
I
with
think we're
certain
getting rid of the
chemotherapies as your first
churro dip
treatment
and
if you do
bringing
not
back
have
the
an abnormal
butterscotch dip.
EGFR or ALK gene.
I think
Keytruda
that's,
can cause your
I
immune
thought
system
that's
to
what I
attack
heard.
healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, severe nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, fever, rash, itching or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems. If you've had or plan to have an organ or stem cell transplant, receive chest radiation, or have a nervous system problem.
Depending on the type of cancer, Keytruda may be used alone or in combination with other treatments, and is also being studied in hundreds of clinical trials exploring ways to treat even more types of cancer. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. See all the types of cancer Keytruda is known for at Keytruda.com and ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you.
Order ahead in the McDonald's app, and you can skip the line and get your food faster. Well played. Order ahead in the app to save time.
Getting ready to lift this red flag out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. When we do, we will see pit stops, 48 laps down. Pit crew, this is not what they want to be doing on Memorial Day, right? Cleaning off those pit stalls, trying to get all that water out of there. But we have seen a little bit of racing out there. We're going to get ready to see some more. Let's kind of show you what we've seen so far to this point with the 48 laps down. We've had 4 different leaders. Obviously, we were delayed 2 days for this Xfinity Series. Supposed to be ran on Saturday. We got it started, but it wasn't for long, right, David?
Yeah, Justin Allgaier jumps out to an early lead here, and these guys were racing hard from the drop of the green flag. A little bit of moisture started to fall about lap 15 or 20, but well, come on, a little, but yeah, Riley Herbst's in-car camera here, you can see some moisture on that front lens, but they were trucking along.
Yeah, and nobody was complaining, but then we had the competition caution at lap 20. Everybody made a 4-time pit stop except for Ryan Sieg, and lo and behold, the miss picked up, and we ended up with red flag. Right here, though, look at 3 wide on pit road. Does not work. You see Sheldon Creed in the 2 pulling out, Allgaier in the 7, Cole Custer in the 00. Allgaier and Custer both getting a little bit of damage.
All right, so rain delay. So we bring him down. We cover the cars. We try to interview Austin Hill. We don't interview Austin Hill. But now we are getting ready to get back out there. But this is exactly what happened as we started after that first rain delay.
Yeah, Ryan Sieg actually stayed out on those old tires, but he got a little loose through the tri-oval, got past, get into turn 1. But yeah, a lot more hard racing here. John Hunter Nemechek is on the bottom. He takes the lead. And really, Ty Gibbs has been the best car leading into this break. He gets in front of John Hunter Nemechek when John just gets a little bit high on entry to turn 1, overcorrects the car, gets loose, and touches the outside wall. These Xfinity cars, Shannon, are really, really tough. So he does have a little bit of damage, but they'll have to work on that during this upcoming caution.
And Ty Gibbs, in only his 2nd start in 2023, the Xfinity Series champion from last year, he gets that stage 1 win with John Hunter Nemechek finishing 2nd. But now here we are at the end of stage 1. As you said, still pit stops to come. Maybe we can get this thing restarted.
Still don't know what we don't know what we don't know?
What we don't know. We don't know nothing.
But I got a feeling that all this little moisture, it's going to be pushing out. As the day goes on, it's supposed to get better and better and better. So maybe we've gotten all of this behind us, and we can log some laps.
But I have been impressed, and David Reagan mentioned it earlier, all the different grooves that we've had. You know, normally the guy that's leading chooses the inside, but they've seen how much that 2nd and 3rd groove's working. Now they're starting to choose the outside when we get the 1 to go.
Josh Berry, you mentioned him earlier. He's the guy that you got to kind of keep your eyes on. He has been the biggest mover on the day, up 22 positions. But, you know, obviously it's going to get a lot harder as he gets towards the front than it was when he was in the back of the field.
Yeah, but I mean, remember, started at the rear of the field, and we've not run that many green flag laps. Made it to 17th at that competition caution. Now he's cracked the top 10. Needs a good pit stop right here.
They're lifting
maybe
it.
game on for that 8th.
And I'm sure the topic of discussion during this short red flag was, what do we need to do to make our race cars better? They've got a couple of opportunities to have some pit stops already. I think this could be the most important stop. Make a good adjustment. I got a feeling we're going to have some long green flag runs.
You know, it's always interesting to me because I do cover other sports, but this is the one sport where you're going to have a rain delay, you're going to get out of the car, you're going to get back in the car, out of the car.
Engine's refired. Apparently the mist has been on and off.
Where you have to kind of mentally refocus so many times over the course of the event. What is that like, and what was your process?
Yeah, the drivers have to kind of stay in that zone. I didn't want to go back to the garage. I didn't want to go back to my motorhome. I wanted to sit on that toolbox or the pit box on pit road, eat me a snack, but just kind of stay in that zone, because if you do go back, it's so hard to just think about the different things that are going on at the racetrack. You don't want to pick up your cell phone and start making conversation, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to strap back in this race car and it's business. So I think they've been able to talk about what their strategy is going to be. The engines have fired, and it'll be an important
now they're telling them to turn back
off
the engines.
I never have been a big believer in Darrell Waltrip's vortex theory, but if we can get them out there and we can get them running a long green flag run, just maybe we can push this stuff out of there, and we can get this race in, and then we'll go racing in the Coke 600 later on today with the Cup car.
I got some bad news for you guys. I'm being told that they just shut those engines off again, and I think I'm seeing some shots where drivers are loosening the straps on their helmets. So now what, crew chief? Now what are you saying to your drivers?
Well, we just gotta wait it out.
What are you saying to your host? What are you saying to your host right now?
The biggest driver I'm talking to right now is my truck driver.
I hate
Just
this.
be patient, be cool. We know it's 54 hours to Portland. We have to park on Friday morning, but I promise you we'll be there and everything will be just fine.
It is so frustrating, Shannon. Again, as a driver, as you see some of these guys taking their helmets off, literally just kind of getting in, and that's your moment to take a deep breath. You're checking out everything inside the race car, and then when the spotter comes on and says, hey, got some more moisture in the air, and you rinse and repeat, you do all that. Some guys might just say, the heck with it, I'm going to stay in here for a little bit and just sit.
Take a nap.
But it is frustrating, but the best drivers will be able to turn that switch on and off and get back in that
Rain picked
mode
up, it is raining
of
hard.
attack, of being in that race car, and the points are going to be paid out. Someone's going to win this race. The responsibility
It's not
is still
misting,
there.
it's
You
pouring.
can't take it any lighter because you've got all of these rain delays.
And I think you want to make sure and talk to your pit crew. These guys still have several pit stops to make. Let's just don't get lackadaisical and just kind of lay around. Let's make sure we stay focused as a team and pit crew, because we've already
I'm getting
seen
sick of this
some
shit.
differences on pit road in just the 1 or 2 pit stops that we've had.
I think you just dropped a dang, didn't you? Did you just drop a dang? You saw that shot?
And I saw it. It's so crazy that the moisture kind of moves out. It looks like you see some bright blue skies on the horizon, and then it comes back in. So let's get Darrell Waltrip on the phone, and let's talk about this vortex. Yeah,
He's gonna
get it
tell you,
going.
you got to get race cars on the racetrack first. That's the only way it works.
You mentioned Portland, and these guys obviously delayed. This race was supposed to take place on Saturday, and they would have had plenty of time to get across the country. But I heard you talking, and the good thing is they're here, right? So even though they're delayed, they still have an opportunity to go back and get some work done at the shop. It's not like that they're on the road somewhere else.
Well, I think that's where NASCAR made a really smart decision on Saturday when they didn't try to reschedule the race for yesterday. We all knew what the forecast was yesterday. That's why they scheduled it for originally noon today. They moved it back to 11. We lost the Coke 600. Talked to several Xfinity Series teams. They left the racetrack Saturday and they went back to their shops, because not only are they having to work on Portland, they have to work on Sonoma. They have back-to-back road course races out on the West Coast, and then most of those teams were in the shop all day long yesterday. So I think for the most part, we get this race in, load up, go back to the shop, unload the Charlotte stuff, load the road course stuff, head to the West Coast.
And I think racing on a Monday, it being a holiday, a lot of people were planning other things. It makes that week tighter, even in preparation from a driver's perspective, going out to Portland, to Sonoma. You got to remember, both of these racetracks, there's a lot of Xfinity drivers. They don't have a lot of experience at both of these racetracks, so they probably had simulator time, some opportunities to watch video, in-car camera, maybe going out to the West Coast early for some sponsor appearances. So it definitely just puts a wrench in the schedule for the whole industry, leading into some important races on the West Coast.
You bring up a good point, because we've only been to Portland one time with the Xfinity Series, and that was a year ago, and it was essentially
Been live for 2 hours. We've raced 48 laps.
And up until last
I think
year,
race
none of
maybe
the
like
top
20
three series
laps.
of NASCAR had been to Sonoma except
Or
the
like
Cup Series.
30.
Last year it was the Truck Series. Now it's going to be the Xfinity Series. And to your point, a lot of these guys are going to be seeing both these racetracks for the very first time.
Yeah, because we were sitting here, I think yesterday or the other, and some guys didn't even know. Maybe it was drivers only. They were like, "We're not racing Xfinity at Sonoma," and we're like, "Yeah, we are racing because we don't normally do that." Let us kind of switch gears to the Cup Series, right? Because that race is obviously supposed to take place a little bit later today, 600 miles, and now the drivers are maybe in their motorhome, maybe some decided to go home and risk kind of getting back here to the racetrack, but they're watching this progress and realizing that not only their weekend has now extended, but this day itself is going to extend as well.
Yeah, and it's tough, Shannon, for a driver, really the whole industry, crew chiefs, mechanics.
Yeah, so the Coke 600 is not going to start at 3.
Because we get to see our friends, our family, sleep in our own bed. But it is so hard. You feel like you're off rhythm. When you're home, you're thinking about some things around your house, your wife, your kids, your animals, your chores around the house. But then you've got to flip that switch as you're going out to the racetrack. I always like to go a little early so I could just, clear my mind, think about things. 600 miles this evening still going to be a long race. You've got to prep, but I know these drivers are watching this Xfinity race today to see how...
They're watching us.
Yeah, well, they're watching us, but they're already seeing that second group coming in. They're thinking about strategy. I know those crew chiefs were looking at Ryan Sieg's strategy early on, staying out with those tires. So there's just so much to go through. We talk about the Xfinity drivers and how they're having to stay focused in the moment, but these Cup drivers are having to do the same thing and get their minds in the right spot to go green later on this afternoon.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of Cup crew chiefs last week. I talked to Jeremy Bullins, Austin Cinders crew chief. I talked to all 4 of the Hendrick Motorsports crew chiefs. And think about it, they loaded their cars into the hauler Friday afternoon thinking, okay, we're going to go out to Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're going to get some practice and qualifying on Saturday night. We're going to be prepared for that transition we always go through in the Coke 600 where we start in the daytime, go through the twilight, end at night. We still have not turned a single lap with these Cup cars, and Lord only knows what the weather's going to be like or what hour of the day we're going to actually run this race later on when we finally get this Xfinity Series race behind us.
I'm just glad that we get to hang out all day, Larry. Because you know the Fox Sports portion of this is winding down, and I get some extra Larry Mac time. That's all that matters to me.
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Let's take a look one more time at the playoff leaderboard here in the Xfinity Series. We've already, as you mentioned, the guys that are in that yellow, those are the ones that have wins on the season. Sammy Smith, the young guy, Jeff Burton, Chandler Smith. You love the Smith guys. John Hunter Nemechek, and then on top of that leaderboard is Austin Hill. Guess what, guys? We get to talk to Austin Hill. We thought we were going to talk to you earlier, Austin, and then you guys got the car, and then we thought we were going to talk to you again, and then you got the car again. So, unfortunately and fortunately, we get to catch up with you. So, thank you. I got to know, are your Georgia Bulldog racing shoes holding up in the rain out there, Austin, or are they just destroyed?
They're out in the rain right now, unfortunately, but we're trying to keep them as dry as possible. But yeah, I mean, we're getting some good time getting in and out of the cars. So if we have any issues or anything, I'm starting to kind of get it dialed in on where everything needs to be. So man, this is frustrating. It really is. Our Alsco Chevrolet is actually pretty good. It didn't fire off very good the first 20. Then we come in, talked about it, sat here, looked at some SMT, things that you can't really do on the fly at the, when you don't have these red flag situations. So was able to sit down and look at it, see where I was getting beat, try to do some different things inside the cockpit to be a little bit better. And then we fired off that second stint and was actually really good. Drove all the way up to 7th. I thought we had a really fast Chevrolet. And now we're sitting here watching it miss, rain, whatever you want to call it again. So very frustrating for us drivers. We just want to get in there and get racing and complete all 200 laps.
So, Austin, we're 11 races into 2023, and you won 3 of the first 5 races in 3 completely different types of tracks. And then you kind of hit a little bit of a bump in the road the next 3 or 4 races, but you've come back now with back-to-back 4th-place finishes at Dover and Darlington. At the end of the day, where do you feel like you and the 21 car stack up, Andy Street, your crew chief, as we move toward the summer months?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still working on some things, trying to just get the feel that I need. We came out swinging, like you said, this season at the start of the year, and then, we did hit a little bit of a rough patch, but, we've had some really fast Chevys every time we come to the racetrack, it seems like, and, one thing that we've really worked on during the off-season last year going into this season was to have a better
it looks like it stopped raining
last year it seemed like we'd fire off good for 7-8 laps and then we'd fall on our face and start building really tight or really loose, whatever the case was at that particular track. And this season we kind of fire off and we're decent for 6, 7, 8 laps.
I think just finish this race and then start the
race progresses.
Don't reschedule this to be later after the
long run here
don't be
today, to see where our car stacks up and see where we're at, because I thought that as the run would go that we'd get a little bit better. So this is one of the racetracks last year that I struggled at particularly really bad. So for us to be inside the top 10 and 7th, we're showing some really good speed. We just got to keep working on it, and whenever we get this thing finished and done, I'll be glad to get this behind us and go on to the West Coast.
Yeah, thanks for taking a few minutes, Austin, to join us. And before you came on, we were just talking about that upcoming West Coast swing, all the road courses you have in the next month, and the summer stretch. You're leading the points right now, those big 3 wins to start the season. But what do you think about the upcoming summer stretch? How prepared are you and your team for the road courses? You don't have a lot of experience at Portland, Sonoma, the Chicago street race.
I think the Cup race probably start by 5. That's my prediction. It'll start by 5, but really probably not. Well, definitely not going to be at 3.
It rained all day, and we raced in the rain, but we
got to get this track dried, and then this race probably restart at like 2.
1 or 2 qualifying laps in the dry, and we thought we were pretty good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I hear the Air Titans
to see where our Chevy stacks up, and then Sonoma. Yeah, I mean I've never been there before. I don't know what that's going to be like. Been doing a lot of iRacing on it and things like that. Was able to do a Skip Barber deal, and so that was cool just to kind of, just see the racetrack and see the elevation changes. And, Sonoma, watching it on TV doesn't put into justice how big that turn 1 hill is. So it was cool to get out there just to walk the racetrack and see it. And then I don't know what to tell you about Chicago. I have no idea. So I don't think anybody does until we get there and we see what happens. But yeah, I mean, these next few races coming up with the road courses and all that, I feel really good about it. I do feel pretty good about the summer months. There's things that we've been really working on at RCR to make our program better, make my car better, and get the feel that I need. And we just got to keep that progression going and try to, we're starting to get some good long run speed. We got to kind of get the short run speed back in it. And if we can kind of mend those two together, I think we're going to be really strong.
Austin, I want to ask you about something you said, and I'm using your words. You said rough patch, right? When you start the season the way you did, winning those 3 races, and then you said you hit kind of a rough patch. Obviously, when you're winning, everything seems great and grand and everyone's getting along, but what's the value of maybe struggling a little? And listen, 4th place finishes for a lot of people, it's not exactly struggling, but when you start the way that you did, I know that you want to continue that momentum. So what'd you guys kind of learn about each other during that quote-unquote rough patch?
I mean, the biggest thing is that we don't give up, and even though we've had some races that haven't really gone our way here the last few weeks, and not get the finishes that we thought that we should have gotten, we still are have the confidence in each other, keeping our head held high, and we feel like anywhere that we go to, every racetrack we go to, that we can win at, and we really feel that way. Everybody at RCR feels that way, that we can get the job done each and every week. It doesn't matter what racetrack it's at. So just having that trust factor and the confidence in each other goes a long way. And this being my 2nd season with RCR, I think that's what's kind of built this relationship with everyone, with Andy Street, the crew chief, and Mark, our engineer, Timmy, our car chief, and everybody else that are on this 21 team. So we're just going to keep digging, just keep fighting hard, trying to make our stuff better, and during these stages, trying to get better at these stage 1, stage 2. We want to get stage wins because that helps with the playoffs. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We really want to do a better job of trying to get some extra stage points going forward.
So Austin, as I mentioned earlier, 3 wins in the first 5 races at 3 completely different racetracks. You got the win at Daytona, back-to-back February wins there, and then you came back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, really the only other mile-and-a-half that we've been to earlier this year, and then you got the win at your home track, Atlanta Motor Speedway, a super speedway mile-and-a-half track. So 3 wins in the first 5 races, but your biggest nemesis, John Hunter Nemechek, a Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, it's almost like you two are just mirroring each other, only one separate in the number of wins, top 5s, top 10s, stage wins. I mean, that right there, where you can't take your eye off anybody else, but that right there seems to be the biggest competition. You two guys have won 5 of the 11 races so far this year.
Yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing does a really good job preparing some fast cars on the racetrack, and John Hummer Nemechek is a really good race car driver. So, we're going toe-to-toe with them right now, and we're doing everything we need to stay up front, keep trying to get this regular season championship under belt or under wraps, so we can get the 15 bonus points. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a fight all year. We just finished stage 1, and he was ahead of us there. And so we've lost a little bit of points to them just already. So you know, going into this second stage, whenever we get going, you know, we got to do a better job of just trying to not really, you know, we're not really too worried about like racing the 20, and it's not like we want to. It's not like we're like, oh, where's the 20 at? You know, if he has a bad pit stop or anything like that. But you know, if he's in front of us, you know it, and you want to be in front of him anytime you can. So that's kind of our biggest thing that I'm focusing on right now is. You know they're going to be up front, so as long as we're up front, we're probably going to be battling for the win or a solid top 5.
Well, listen, man, it's been so much fun to watch you this season. You know I'm a fan. We love talking to you, and we can't wait to get you on a little bit more after those wins because you know more are just going to keep on coming. Hopefully, in this race out there at Charlotte, as soon as we get this baby in. Thanks for joining us, Austin.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I hate it for all the fans that are out here right now. There's a lot of fans in the stands still, you know, just going against the weather. So yeah. I hope we get this thing in pretty quick and get some dry racing in and have a good finish to this Charlotte weekend, Memorial Day.
Well, don't change, Austin. You just leave that uniform on and stay close to that race car.
Can I get a go dogs before you go for Larry Mack?
That's right. Go dogs, Larry. Go dogs, Larry.
There you go. That's what I need. A little Georgia. All right, so we do have some news for you. The Xfinity Series race has been once again rescheduled for after the Cup race later tonight. So it sounds like Austin Hill can actually go and take that fire suit and those racing shoes off. It's going to be on FS2, and that will take place after the Coca-Cola 600. Obviously, we don't know what time that is. The Coca-Cola 600 is scheduled to start at 3 o'clock, but just depending on what happens with the weather out at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, Austin Hill said it. Yeah, I hate it for the teams. I hate it for the drivers, but I hate it for our race fans. My gosh, they're the most dedicated fans in all of sports. They came back today, but you know what? At the end of the day, nobody has control of it. We're just trying to make the best we can of a really tough situation.
Yeah, and kudos to Marcus Smith, Greg Walter out at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and all the NASCAR staff. You know, this isn't an easy decision. You know, they've
postponed
got so
till after the Cup race.
With. Obviously, the Coke 600, they've got to get those cars through tech, on pit roads, set up the toolboxes, so there has to have a window to allow those teams to prepare and get ready. So certainly unfortunate that they'll have to push this Xfinity race a little bit further.
I'm wondering, do I end the stream or what?
That the drivers are going to have to adjust and be ready to go.
And listen, I'm not just being optimistic, but when I woke up this morning and turned on my local news, like they said it was going to clear out as the day went on. So that's what I anticipate to happen.
There is nothing on the radar. It's just that heavy, dense mist fog that just rolled in there.
Here's who my heart goes out to is those crew guys. Right? Because the drivers can go back to their motorhomes, they can go and relax. A lot of them can, right? There are crew guys that have been here now multiple days, sitting on the floors of the haulers, sitting on
I'm thinking about what to do.
As a crew chief, what's your responsibility to kind of keep those guys as motivated and as comfortable as they possibly can for what's going to be a long day?
Well, David and I were talking. There's a lot
I'm
of
gonna
these
end
pit
it.
crews. They're going to be pitting cars in the Coca-Cola.
And I'll be
600,
live
so
like
they
whenever
still
we
have
get
a
a
very
start
long
time
day in front of them.
for the
When it
Cup
comes to
race.
the road crew,
Because that won't be for
we talked
multiple
about it
hours.
earlier. We have to get this Xfinity Series
I don't want to
race
just
in
sit here and
tonight,
wait.
during the night, even if we bleed into the morning, because the logistics says it's just over 50 hours for these haulers to get to Portland, Oregon, where we race next weekend. They're probably all going to have to not only work on these cars today,
and then I'll stay live through the Xfinity race.
Loaded up to get them head west.
Yeah, and Austin Hill
It's just unfortunate, man.
The point situation and racing hard for the stages. I can't express enough that it's so easy.
So yeah, I
for
will
a driver, a
come
crew
back
chief,
for the Cup
even
race.
these pit crew members to almost just turn it
And
down
yeah.
a notch when you have these rain
All right,
delays.
see y'all.
You're racing on a Monday, your mind is wandering.